Cleric cast Divine Intervention to win D&D, and the DM just canceled the game. So session's canceled. Welcome to another prayer-tastic edition of the Sessions Canceled podcast. Yo. I am your holy rogue for this evening, Percy Glaxon.
Oh my god.
I am here with the boys, as always. Josh.
Yeah, you know, I really love the idea of just looking your DM straight in the eye, saying, I cast Divine Intervention, I win.
I win D&D, Dungeon Master. It's in the rules. It says it right here.
It just says right here. And then DM looks at you and says, it fails. And you're like,
no, you can't do that. You're breaking my immersion.
The DM says, roll a D100.
Well, level 20.
And Isaiah.
Yeah, Isaiah.
Hey, what's up?
So if you couldn't tell from today, we are doing another handbook on another class of ours. We've done, the wizard. Yeah. We've done the wizard, we've done the fighters, we've done the roguey boys, we did the sorcerers, and I feel like we got to complete the trifecta of the normal core, or not normal core, but the core four that most people think about when you think of like a D&D party.
Matt.
You got your fighter, you got the rogue, you got the wizard,
Matt.
And now we're doing the cleric.
Matt, that's not a trifecta.
What do you mean? Trifecta, all 4 points of the triangle. Come on, Josh. God.
Oh my god.
This guy doesn't even know what a fucking triangle is.
Trifecta is 3. There's 4 classes.
That's fine. It's fine. No, that doesn't matter.
Is there?
I know what I said, and I said what I said.
Please. I need to...
Quadrecta. I don't know. Yeah. What is a
quadrangle technically?
Listen,
quadrangle, sure.
Yeah, quad.
Is there a four-man equivalent to a trifecta? Is that a thing?
I'm assuming there is. So yeah, the fourfecta, as I'm gonna call it now. TM trademark. Don't steal that, guys. Yeah, we're gonna talk about clerics today. What do you gentlemen, just in general, what do you think of holy boys and or gals? What do you think of the cleric class overall?
I deeply enjoy playing a magical nuclear warhead that can also heal boo-boos.
Yes, I do indeed. Like that.
Were you looking for the number or like? I don't know.
Not yet. I just want a general like overall like what's your first just like out of the head opinion before we jump into our normal.
But the number is the. No, I refuse to answer the question twice.
Okay. So, anyways, I agree because it's when it comes to 5e and my dog barking in the background.
Cleric cool though.
Yeah, Cleric very cool. They made because like in normal editions, from what I've heard, or the past editions, I should say, most people didn't want to play Cleric. Yeah, I don't know why I said normal editions. Yeah, there's normal editions and then there's 5e,
the proper version of
edition, the game, the super thick edition. Most people back, in the older editions, whenever you think of a cleric, most people are like, oh god, fucking a heal bot. Oh, I don't want to have to buff the party all the time. Oh my god, it's so tedious. And then 5e comes around and they made cleric one of the strongest, thickest fucking classes.
Okay, like, hold on. Yeah, I don't think that was ever actually real.
Real. The people not liking playing cleric because of healbot idea.
I'm fairly my understanding is that people assumed that was the only way to play cleric, and that cleric had to be healbot fucking Mick Pussyfoot. I don't think that was ever actually the case. I think that was sort of cultural assumption. Granted,
it still kind of is a thing sometimes.
Oh no, it still is
nowadays. Yeah.
Granted, you did need you did kind of need a dedicated healer more often in the older editions, is my understanding. But I don't know if you ever really needed a hard and fast Holy Trinity at any point in D&D's lifetime. I could be off base with that, but I don't think so.
I mean, if you ever would, it would probably be 40.
No, I think it actually was probably third, if anything, because 4E, a lot of characters had their own sustain, and even if you didn't have like a healer, you had ways to deal with it, So I think it would probably have been 3rd edition, because 3rd edition was the most like, hardcore, I guess, which is not even whatever. You know what I mean. But yeah, I don't think clerics were ever 100% just Healbot McStevenson. I could be wrong, but I don't think that was a thing. You know. Anyway,
Maybe. Man.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no. I accidentally did not hit the unmute on myself, so that's my bad.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
Professional.
Yeah, we're professional podcast aficionados here, only the best. And yeah, I guess we'll go into the normal then general, like how we set these handbooks up. If those of you who don't know, we have 3 general questions that we always ask every single time. The first one, as always, guys, mental gen. What do you rank the cleric in D&D 5e on a scale of? Did we do 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, Josh? Always
1 to 5.
It is 1 to 5. Yeah. 1 to 5. 1 to 5. I guess
done it 4 times, and my man's over here like, how does this work?
Listen, man, a lot of time has passed since the last time we do these, so it's.
It hasn't been that long. Really, it has not been that long.
It's been a few weeks.
It's 1 to 5, yes.
Yeah. All right. I guess I'll go first since I'm in the big boy chair today. I'm in the dungeon master.
That's what we call it.
That's what I'm calling it. I'm calling it the big boy chair. Gonna need it. I want to say, as I said, I definitely think the cleric is one of the, like, I don't like using the word strong, but it is very powerful and enticing class. I feel like there's not really a bad option with clerics. There's maybe some, like, I don't know, options where it's like, I could do something else instead. I could choose another subclass over this other one if I want the idea of a cleric. But I feel like you can't really lose playing a cleric, like any of the like million cleric subclasses in D&D. But that being said, there's a part of me that wants to give it a 5, but I'm gonna give it a 4, honestly. Just because I don't know. I feel like cleric's kind of good. It's in a good spot. I don't know what would be left to tweak it, but I don't think it's the perfect like class to play. This is all just like general like opinioning for me. I don't know. I think it's like, yeah, I think solid 4, probably pushing to 5 for me at least.
Okay.
Yeah. For my favorites, or do we want to do all of us number wise, or do you want one person answer each question every time?
You know what, Matt? You're the captain of the fuckery.
Sick. All right. All right. Josh, give me a number between 1 to 5. For cleric specifically.
I was about to take some water, but all right. Anyway, number between 1 and 5. 2, because I like the number 2. No.
Damn.
So I think this is the first one for me. 5 out of fucking 5, baby.
Woo! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It's all about the Mets. I mean, clerics.
It's all about the Mets, baby.
Cleric is fucking top tier. Cleric's like maybe my favorite class, or very close to my favorite class.
Really? I'm actually kind of surprised to hear that.
Yeah, it's very high up there. There's 3 classes in D&D that like. Well, no, correction. There was 3 classes. Now there's 4 that fight for my love at the top. But yeah, Cleric's a fucking 5 out of 5 for me because there's not much I have to complain about. The only thing that I could really complain about is the same thing we've said on a couple of other times with like the Wizard, for example, is there are a couple of levels where you just get a whole lot of nutting, which is annoying. As always.
But you mean the levels where you get a new spell level? Okay.
Yeah, so like 3rd level, 7th level, 9th level, you don't get what do they call? You don't get a class feature, you get a spell.
You just get a new spell level. Yeah.
Yeah. As I've said before, I'm not a huge fan of that methodology. I understand it, and depending on the spell you pick, it can be really impactful, but because of the sort of ammo count of spells, it doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't quite feel the same. But other than that, lots of good shit, lots of shit to love in Cleric, and there's The strongest thing about Cleric is also kind of one of its problems, I will say, though, which is Cleric has the most subclasses, which is good in a lot of ways, but bad in some ways.
Yeah, the bloat gets a little.
There's a little bit
wild.
of bloat, yes, and I will probably get into that later. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's my right. Is that my first 5? I'm trying to think. Wizard,
I think so.
I
yeah.
think
Fighter, I
that-
give a 2. Wizard, I give a 4. Rogue is a 3. And Sorcerer, I think I said 3. So yeah, my first 5.
Oh shit.
Yo,
Yeah.
good
did.
on you for actually remembering what scores you gave. I got no
Yeah, same.
fucking idea.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You guys have been very generous. I don't think you've given anything below 3, which is
Probably. I mean, I got it because I don't. I don't really have a problem with most.
yeah,
of
y'all
the
are too
classes.
nice.
I'll-
But, you know.
when and if we ever do the Artificer episode, that's where I'm gonna like go a little nanny to fuck on them.
Interesting. I don't think I'll agree with you there, but all right.
Yeah, it's a very strange flex, but okay.
Yeah.
Unorthodox display of hubris.
Yeah. But yeah. So Isaiah, what's your favorite number between 1 and 5?
So, it's not I'm probably gonna say 4. Probably gonna say 4. I really like clerics. They're really powerful. They're really fun to play, but there are just like some things where I'm like, I kind of wish this wasn't this way. You know, like a lot of them have to do with trying to.
You have a prime example?
Like.
I kind of have something. I don't. This could be like a later thing, but I don't know if this also nags you. Is that almost every cleric gets like heavy armor proficiency, and there's not
No,
really like a full
it's actually-
caster.
Actually, incorrect statement, Matt.
Really?
I thought that was the case too, and then I read through all the subclasses today. It's like half and half.
Yeah,
Okay. I mean, it's still half though.
this
that's-
sounds like really non-committal. I'm having trouble putting my words on it. It feels like there's something missing.
for cleric.
Or yeah. Like one of the things I have beef with is like obviously divine intervention. I don't like that ability,
Wait,
of at
what?
all.
Why?
What? What?
I
Yeah.
don't
That's
like.
the best part.
It is, but you get an ability at level 10 that it's almost never going to work.
What do you
It's
mean?
basically a worthless ability.
Sir,
hold
I'm
on,
gonna
hold on.
pull you
Okay,
to
okay.
Critical Role Campaign 2. This motherfucking Furbolg used it 3 times.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
okay. Hold on. Hold on. We can't get into these yet. Let's couch this one because I do want to
okay,
talk
we'll
about
put the-
divine intervention.
yeah.
Because I do
I do,
think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
an important point to.
Yeah,
talk about
I don't know. So it's like a part of it is like the way the class is built, because it's like it heavily advises you to shield, but if you have a shield and a weapon, then you can't cast.
Incorrect.
Right. Well, they expect you to have your holy weapon,
nope.
holy symbol in one hand,
Nope.
and then shield in the no.
Nope. You are both incorrect. In fact, I have a fun little tip. This is a good learning lesson, because I too once thought this was the case, but this is in fact not the case for a very specific reason. So give me 1 second, because I have to pull it up, because I want to read this very specifically. All right.
Yeah.
Please hold.
Yeah. Yeah. What else do you have like an issue-ish with? Isaiah?
Where the fuck does it say this?
Because I'm struggling too, because I want to give it a 5, but I can't really put into words like why I don't believe it's a 5.
Yeah, I'm having a sub problem because it's
Maybe
like,
it's the bloat too. Like
part
maybe
of
you're
it's
saying
the
this to me.
bloat. Part of it is like it
Oh, it's under
it does
holy
that
symbol.
thing where it feels like it because it has it can do everything. You almost want, like, I almost want it to be a little bit more restrictive in what you can do.
Wait, what?
I was gonna
Well,
say
'cause,
this,
like-
okay, that contradicts something you've said previously. However,
I know.
Let me read
I
this
know.
real quick, because this is
Yeah,
important. In the
holy
description of
symbol.
holy symbol, a holy symbol is a representation of a god or pantheon. It might be an amulet depicting a symbol representing a deity. The same symbol carefully engraved or inlaid as an emblem on a shield.
Oh, so you can use your shield as
Uh-huh. A
Okay.
cleric or paladin can use a holy symbol as a spellcasting focus. To use the symbol in this way, they must hold it in their hand, wear it visibly, or bear it on a shield.
Didn't they add something
clerics
to
and
Tasha's too?
paladins essentially have built-in Warcaster.
Interesting.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, well that gets rid of one complaint for sure.
Yeah. I didn't know about that for a long time, and then I randomly read that, and I was like, wait a fucking minute. Does this mean rules is written? And it specifically says you can bear your holy symbol on your shield. So, yes.
Oh, shit.
I don't know what you're talking about, Tasha's.
Yeah, because I thought they added something to Tasha's that you can do something like that, because throughout most of the time I've played D&D, anytime a player has done the shield as their holy symbol thing, a DM has destroyed it because, holy symbol, rust monsters or whatever.
I mean, yeah, that's a thing you could do.
Yeah.
But so Tess, technically you do not need Warcaster. You can emblazon a holy symbol on a shield. You can't put an arcane focus on a shield, but you can put a holy symbol on a shield.
Interesting.
Hence, because I believe, honestly, I believe that's mostly there, less so for clerics and more so for paladins. Because, sword and board paladin is, that's the thing.
That's why I didn't use a shield in the Tingo at all, because I thought that if I had a shield, I couldn't cast a spell. So I'm like, well, I'm doing the rapier thing anyways, so I'll just have the rapier in one hand, my holy symbol in the other, and I'm good to go. Fuck.
Yeah, I remember. I think I did learn that after we finished Avernus. Although it is worth pointing out that you couldn't have used the magic talkie fire shield, because obviously that's a magic item. You couldn't just like engrave your holy symbol into it. It has to be like a normal shield.
It had to be. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So, there's that. I suppose you could make the argument to a GM, like, can I pay someone to like engrave my holy symbol into it or something? But that's like
something like that.
Then you're getting into that like mid campaign stuff, which is not covered by rules, right? That's like GM adjudication. But yeah. Anyway, Isaiah's giving it a 4?
A strong 4.
Okay.
For the most part, I think it's amazing. There are just like some minor things where I'm like, I wish this wasn't this way.
I guess what do we do? Who is everybody's quintessential cleric in media? Mine's gonna be kind of a weird one, because I was looking at this up for a while, and the one I'm gonna pick is Melisandre from Game of Thrones, the Red Witch, the Red Lady. Very evil, very fiery priestess.
She's called the Red Witch, though.
Yeah.
Is she?
Well, she's
the Red
a witch
priestess
in the sense that she's evil, and people think she's a curse. But
is she holy specifically?
Yes. Yes, specific. Yeah. She's the Red priestess of the Lord of Light. Basically won't shut up about her lord and like the prophecies and how he'll conquer the land and all this shit. Or not conquer the land, but she does a lot of spooky sacrificial fire stuff, sacrificing people. She gave birth to a shadow monster one time. She uses magic to de-ageify herself.
I completely forgot about that shadow monster.
Yeah, right. That was like the first thing she did too.
This
that was like one of the
sound
first.
Very clerical.
Hold on. Well, I'm gonna get to like more cleric-y stuff. She does fire magic. A lot of clerics sometimes will do fire magic. You can light a sword on fire. She makes potions and like alchemical mixtures.
She sounds like a wizard to me.
Well, hold on. Here's the one thing. She's able to bring people back from the dead.
Okay, maybe she's...
Well, she specifically brought one person back.
She sounds like either a wizard or like an evil druid situation.
The thing is, yes, but the thing with this is that she is so, unlike warlocks too, where they're like, it's a patron thing. She is so devoted to the Lord of Light that it kind of like is more of a clerical thing than just like a cult. And there are other...
Counter argument, druids can also be very devoted to a god.
Well, druids in D&D terms are mostly, gods, but mostly they're specifically tied to nature. I know they're like, now with the 1D thing, 1D&D thing, they're trying to do it as primal magic. But like in 5e norm, clerics, druids they can worship any god, whatever, but mostly what they're worshiping is the primal nature of, the land or forest or the moon or whatever other subclass, fire. So with Melisandre, because she does act as a holy woman for this deity, she goes around helping Stannis Baratheon as an advisor. She's doing a lot of evil. Like, this is why it's hard, but you can make this as this is a cleric, a very evil one at that.
Clerics can be
evil,
a
cleric nonetheless.
Yeah, I don't think your alignment necessarily has anything to do with being
there's a couple of domains that could very easily be evil.
I mean, there's one called the death domain.
There's the death domain and the grave domain. There's two that are very
grave domain. You can kind of play that one as like a neutral more than evil, but like you can do evil if you want.
Also, trickery domain and tempest domain could have a pretty easily evil bent. Also, twilight domain.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like, evil's not a requirement. Yeah. I don't know this character, so I can't really argue. I don't know if she sounds very cleric-y from the way you're describing it, but
I mean, she has, I
does
believe
she club anyone with a mace?
No, she does. So she's more of a cat, which is the one thing, and I want to ask you guys this as well. I know in D&D, a lot of clerics get armor proficiencies. I guess you were saying that only half of them get heavy armor.
It's like
half a lot of them do get a lot of them do get medium armor as well.
Well, no, they all get medium armor by default.
Yeah, that's so in my mind, I don't think clerics should have armor. I get the idea of like you have the frontline cleric who's running out there, going to cast cure wounds on the guy. I have to run into battle, slap my holy symbol on my barbarian's forehead and go, "Bring back to life, Lord." But for me, I feel like, I don't know, because clerics are mostly a caster. So shouldn't they have that whole like, I shouldn't be able to wear armor restriction on them? I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
I think what you're conflating, you're conflating two different archetypes that people often conflate. And this is what I was talking about before, where I said that clerics do not have to be heal bots. The reason people assume clerics have to be heal bots is because people assume that clerics aren't clerics. People assume clerics are priests, which is a very different archetype that doesn't necessarily show up as often, but is a thing. Important distinction is, or important, not distinction, good example. In World of Warcraft, you don't have clerics. You have priests and you have paladins. That's kind of what you're talking about, Matt. The paladin is the heavy armor wearing, shield and big weapon, smashy man. And then a priest in World of Warcraft is a caster and a healer. Now you can be an evil priest, which makes you a damager, or you can be like a light priest, which makes you a healer, or you can be basically a buffing priest. Or at least back when I played, that was the case. I don't know what the deal is now. That is a different archetype, though. And D&D has basically never had a priest class because cleric kind of serves the purpose.
Right.
The problem is, yes, like you're saying, even if you go with one of the clerics that doesn't use armor and weaponry a lot. So because by default, clerics start with light armor, medium armor, and simple weapons and shields. So if you go with a light domain cleric, for example, who does not get any extra armor proficiency, and they get bonus cantrips, and they get potent spell casting, the light domain is supposed to be one of the castery ones because you add your wisdom modifier.
Fireball.
Yeah, you add your wisdom modifier to your cantrip in the light domain. That's what potent spell casting is. And Nate, I think the light domain gets it. The peace domain, I think, gets it. There's a couple of the cleric domains that actually get potent spell casting and don't get
a lot of the
heavy
clerics
armor.
share. Yeah, a lot of the clerics share some features like divine.
They all
not divine smite, but
they all get either. Every cleric
divine
gets
strike.
Either divine. Yeah, either they all get either at level 8. Every single one of them gets either divine strike or potent spell casting. So the basic implication being, if you get divine strike, you're supposed to be a melee cleric. If you get potent spell casting, you're more of a casty cleric. But yeah, it is true though that you can still be a casty cleric wearing a shield and medium armor. That being said, medium armor and a shield gets you to like 15 to 16 AC. So you're not actually that thick of a boy. So if you do go with one of the ones that doesn't get heavy armor, you actually probably are going to stand back quite a bit more. And you can play a cleric pretty much both ways.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah.
But yeah, what you want, I would say, is a priest.
I guess, yeah.
Which is like, I
more
am
the caster. Yeah, I can
it's like
sling fire spells or healing spells or buffing spells in the background while my team actually goes out and does the heavy lifting.
Yeah, it's like I'm a wizard with healing spells is kind of what you want. What I think would be interesting is if wizard got that as a subclass. That would be cool.
Healing. I think that's the general thing of like why wizard hasn't gotten any kind of like healing subclass, because they wanted that distinction between cleric and wizard. Although with some of the subclasses, you can
You
mix
do get
and
some
match.
overlap.
Yeah, there is. I
Yeah,
think
so I'm surprised
overlap-
they haven't done that before yet.
Well, I think the overlap is fine as long as the caveat has to be this is the healer wizard. The healer wizard is not as good of a healer as a cleric, right? Like you can do the overlap as long as the subclass is not as good as the actual class, right? Like
Yeah, I feel like because my whole sorry, real quick. My whole thing is I don't like the idea of wizards bringing people back to life other than like necromancy. Like I feel like that was kind of, to me, the reasons
That's a
why wizards
trade-off,
have
yeah.
necromancy is because they can't actually bring people back.
right, yeah.
Right, it's like their half maneuver. So I don't really like the idea that a wizard can bring someone back to life, because that's one of like the biggest
Differences.
Yeah.
And again, yeah, that's the thing about subclasses, right? Some classes will sometimes give some overlap. You could very easily though make it so that the wizard subclass that is like let's say the subclass was literally called the priest. You could make it so that the priest subclass doesn't get revivify and instead just gets like cure wounds and mass healing word and healing word and shit. You know, like just don't give them the resurrection spells. Right? Like that's still doable.
Yeah.
All that
I
means-
think they've had a bunch of like kind of healery, priesty, wizard subclasses in UAs before, but I don't think any of them made it through playtest.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, it's an interesting thing. I understand your argument, Matt. I'm kind of okay with it as is. I like that Cleric has the choice between being up in the shit or being in the back, you know? I like that.
Yeah,
it's also worth pointing out that if you make a cleric, you know, because you don't have to use a shield. So if you go, okay, I'm going to be a spellcastery cleric, then you can say to yourself, okay, I could have like maybe a bow in one hand or like a crossbow. Well, I guess you can't use a crossbow, but like, you know, you have a free hand. So suddenly you got some more options there is the point I was trying to get across.
Right.
Oh,
But,
you could have a light crossbow.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
you know,
okay. Yeah.
yeah. So like, you know,
More options are good.
the room's there, I think.
Yeah. And then one last thing with just like the red priestess lady. One thing I forgot to mention.
Right, because that is what
Yeah.
we were originally talking
That was yeah.
it is worth noting that like I think the reason why I'll give it this one to Matt is because her powers are literally completely tied to her faith, and because the Lord
Yeah.
of Sunlight,
Lord
what's
of
it called?
Light. Yeah.
The Lord of Light is,
I forgot his actual
he's
name.
basically
Rahul.
the Zeus analog. Like he's
Right,
like a
right.
weird Zeus Helios mix.
Yeah, and she does get like divine prophecies and visions from the Lord of Light. Like she's constantly like telling her like, oh, the Lord of Light sent me to this, and oh, tells one character you're gonna kill 3 different people specifically, and then that character does it, and you're like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
I do like that it's kind of weird because she is most of the show she is like presented as like, oh, I'm high like Lord of Light cleric motherfucker, like no one can top me. Meanwhile, there's this random drunk archer guy who's been able to bring people like his friends back from the dead. They worship the same god, and she's just like, how do you do that? How'd you do what? How?
Yeah, she is seeing coping, seething, and malding in real time because of him.
And then and then when she does it later on, she's like, I've never done this before. I don't know if I can do this. Oh shit.
I think the thing that I'm realizing that we are coming across, because this has happened with a couple of times, this has happened with like a few of the other classes, is what actually makes the class? Right? Like, what is it about a cleric that actually makes them a cleric? You know, how many points do you need to tick on the cleric box to qualify as a cleric? Which is why I think the whole debate about who is what class sometimes gets really messy, because it's like, well, they've got this thing, but not this other thing. Because you're like, oh, well, she's got the god and the resurrecting and the healing, but she doesn't have the smashing with the hammer, and she
does a lot more evil things, like
evil,
like a wizard and warlock, like summoning shadow monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's again, she's the closest thing I can get to that's actually probably a good example.
Yeah, I see what you're
without it
saying.
Because like everything else I've looked at, and I'll list them after like later on. Everything else I looked up hasn't really hit that like she's checked more boxes than everything else I thought of or saw.
Yeah, I get what you mean. That's fair.
Yeah.
It is honestly, because me and Matt, before this, we were like, fucking clerics in media. What the fuck? Like, it's really hard.
Okay, I'm gonna just say this now.
Go for it.
I couldn't think of one.
Really?
That's fucking fair, my guy.
I straight up do not have one.
Oh,
I don't have one. I literally
not even in a video game.
No, I really couldn't think of anyone. Like,
really? Oh shit.
I kept running into a situation of like, well, Jim here checks box 1 and 2, but not 4 and 5, and then Jennifer over there checks boxes 3 and 6, but not 1 and 4.
I think this is actually bring up a good point. What to you? And I was talking to a friend, but before this, I was asking him what his quintessential cleric was. By the way, Lucy, cheers to you, mate. Yeah, like what is cleric to you? Because to me, a cleric, its main thing is its faith, and that's about it. Like, you need to be like to me, a cleric is just a faith-based caster. I don't really put any merit in healing versus damaging or buff and support. It's just your magic comes from a higher power that you need to actively believe in, and you gotta. Oh my god!
I just thought of one.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, go for it.
Okay.
You gonna say my girl?
No, not gonna say anyone you would think of. Okay.
Oh shit.
Let it be known, gentlemen, this is going to begin a long line of me pulling from the same source material multiple times. The quintessential cleric for me is Anduin from World of Warcraft.
Interesting. Okay.
It's Anduin Wrynn. I know you don't know who that is, Matt. So here's the thing. The thing. Those Warcraft fans out there, of which I'm a many years sober Warcraft fan, let's say. I had to go to many Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, and those meetings were playing for Final Fantasy 14 instead.
Isn't he the leader of the Alliance now?
He is now, yeah.
Oh, okay, I know.
So, he's Varian Wrynn's son. So here's the thing about Anduin, because technically, a lot of people are going to make the argument that Anduin is a paladin. However, the problem with the thing about paladins and priests in World of Warcraft, and this is what I was talking about before, priests are the light armor caster. Paladin is the, smash with weapon and shield. Caveat, you can spec into a specific talent tree in World of Warcraft, or again, you could. I don't know what it's like now. You could spec into a specific talent tree in World of Warcraft that was the healing focused paladin. That paladin works more like a cleric in D&D because you still have like mace and shield, but you're not wearing heavy armor and you're standing in the back a lot more, and you are explicitly a healer in the Holy Trinity because in World of Warcraft, your class, so Isaiah, you know how your class in 14 designates what you are in the Holy Trinity, right? A Dark Knight is always a tank, a Paladin is always a tank, a White Mage is always a healer. That's not the case in World of Warcraft. Your Holy Trinity position was actually dictated by your talent tree. So you could be a DPS Paladin, a tank Paladin, or a healing Paladin. If you went healing Paladin, you're kind of more like a D&D cleric, and that is explicitly what Anduin is. In fact, Anduin, prior to where he is now, when he was younger, was a priest. And if you play Hearthstone, Anduin is the priest character, or Anduin is the example character for the priest deck, because every deck in Hearthstone has like a World of Warcraft character attached to it. So if you pick priest, you get Anduin.
Yeah, I'm looking at a lot of art of this guy, and I like how they goes from either being like harsh, like holy knight, heavy ass armor, giant pauldrons, and then like some images just like baby face.
Right.
Like,
so that's because he's been in the game since he was like 4.
Oh shit. So he's literally grown up throughout the whole...
Yeah, he has grown up throughout the series. So in the beginning of the game, he was literally a child standing next to the king's throne in Stormwind. And then as the series went on, he started to get older, he started to do more shit, and he kind of transitioned from priest to paladin. I believe they still technically call him a priest, but he's got big paladin energy these days.
Yeah, oh my god, his fucking shoulder pauldrons, dude, they're so massive.
He has some pretty
I
wild.
love that.
He's had probably some of, other than like Thrall, he's probably had the most growth of any character in World of Warcraft. But yeah,
isn't he a big croaked at the moment?
Maybe, I don't know where.
Isn't Anduin the Lich King?
No.
What? Wait, I thought they.
I don't know anything about World of Warcraft. I'm being real.
I only know from the trailers, and I thought the helmet got like broken in half.
Yeah, well, he might not. He might be. I am seeing some art of him looking very evil, but that is not the Lich King armor. Also because the Lich King doesn't exist anymore. Which is a whole. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Don't, please. I can't do this right now. Just
look up some lore videos.
Yeah, no. I don't look. The whole.
There's a bunch on YouTube, 4 hours long. Get your fix.
Sylvanas ruined everything in World of Warcraft, and I really don't want to get into this. But anyway, the Lich King's not.
Okay.
The Lich King. The Lich King's not a thing anymore.
Holy shit.
Which doesn't actually make any sense, but they did it anyway. Moving on. Anduin is, I think, the perfect cleric example, because although he is very like sort of paladin-esque, he is very explicitly a healer, and for a long time he didn't want to fight. Like, that was his whole thing, is like, no, I'm helping people, I'm not killing people. Obviously
that's very priesty, cleric-y. Yeah.
And then his dad died and he went, well, Skeeter.
I choose incredible violence.
Yeah, pretty much.
I had in Icewind one of the players was playing a life cleric, but they were specifically playing a pacifist. So they only had healing and buff spells, and they refused to do damage at all.
Yeah, I know a lot of people want to try that.
It was an interesting character, but when it came to like,
it doesn't
oh
work.
god, we're fighting a lich. Cleric, please.
Yeah.
He's at 1 HP. Just whack him. And it's like, I'd rather cast Cure Wounds.
I know people want to always try. So many people try that idea in D&D. Guys, please stop trying to play a pacifist in D&D. It just doesn't work. The
game is literally about killing monsters.
The game is about killing monsters. Rather than trying to play a pacifist, think of a reason why your character would justify or accept that they are committing the violence, right? You can still be a good person and have to commit violence.
True.
Especially
you could have a no killing policy.
Yeah, exactly. You could have a no killing. You could
non-lethal damage.
Non-lethal everything.
Yeah, so
except for spells.
Small story. The Fire Emblem campaign
rules is
one
written.
of the players. What's up?
Technically, the spells thing rules is written, but I know a lot of GMs let people do non-lethal damage with spells. I know I've done that many times. As long as, my opinion on that, as long as you can justify how you would deal non-lethal damage, then it's fine. You know, like, how do you deal non-lethal with a bow? You shoot them in the legs, right? Like that kind of thing. Fine.
Yeah, and like it's pretty easy to how do you fireball non-lethally? It's like, well, it's an explosion, right? You blow something up above someone's head, the concussive blast will knock your ass unconscious.
Yeah.
Lightning bolts, you don't have to actually hit someone with light, presumably, because if it acts like lightning, right, it'll arc, so you can be like, oh, I shoot it like
off
next
center
to them, and the arcing bolt zaps them in unconscious. Like, it's pretty, it's not particularly difficult.
I remember specifically one time Ant shattered the wall like next to an enemy. And
yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, you can. Oh, you're the Fire Emblem campaign, Isaiah. You're about to say.
Oh yeah. So we had a player who was like, I'm a pacifist. I don't kill people. You guys aren't allowed to kill people. And we were like, all right, like, can we still kick ass? And she was like, yeah, just no murder allowed. Right. So my barbarian would just started using the Mordhau on people. Like, he would just wield his greatsword like a hammer.
Yeah.
And I think I actually told this story. Every time that character like wasn't looking, he'd just like shiv someone, throw them over the board of ship, like just like gotta get one good. Yeah. All right, he's gone. Just turn around, make sure she wasn't looking, turn back around, murder more people.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
nice.
and you know, and also, you know, like in real life, people who are not bad people have to kill people, right? Like, you know, soldiers in real life have to kill people. That does not make them like instantaneously a horrible person, right? Like, the difference, I don't remember where I heard this, but the difference between a good and a bad person is not whether you do good or bad things. The difference, because everyone's going to do something bad at their life at some point, right? Like it's impossible not to. The difference is a bad person has no remorse. A good person feels bad about it afterward. That's the difference. So you could kill someone and then be like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. That's the difference. Whereas the bad guy kills them and goes, that was fun.
LMAO.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it again.
That was literally the difference between Zigzags and Paz. Zigzags was like, I hate that we have to do this, but I am aware that if we do not do this, we will die horribly. And Paz was like, LOL, kick him in the nuts.
Yeah, that was a great conversation where Zigzags was like, why do you I see that you enjoy this a lot, and I find that kind of perturbing. Yeah. Why do you like killing people? And I'm pretty sure Paz said the look of the life leaving someone's eyes is awesome, and he was just like, I'm gonna go walk over here and pretend I didn't hear that.
That's the distinction.
I need a bath now.
Yeah. I feel gross.
Disgusting. Yeah. Anyway, that was a little side tirade. So yeah.
Nice.
Anduin is my cleric pick of choice, which I'm surprised. Get ready, boys, because I've thought of a couple of the other quintessentials, and they are also from Warcraft.
Ooh. Okay, yeah, I want to hear them because I have a little list too.
Oh no, I mean for other classes.
Oh, other classes.
Other
okay.
classes.
I mean, it's fine because like most of my picks have been from fucking comic books. I think this is like one of the first ones that's not a comic book character.
Okay.
But yeah, Isaiah, what is your quintessential? What do you got for me?
So I had a few because I was having a hard time figuring this out.
Yeah.
So I was like, I kind of need a few to throw at the wall. So my first one is Zuko from Avatar.
What?
I know. I know
the
this
god
sounds
of
crazy.
honor.
I know this sounds crazy. No. Hear me out, right?
Yeah.
Because the benders in Avatar are empowered by a divine force, right? So like the sun makes firebenders stronger, the moon makes waterbenders stronger, and if firebenders don't have a passion, right, something that they believe in wholeheartedly, they can't bend, which is why Zuko lost his ability to firebend later on, and that's why they had to go find the dragons to find his new purpose. So he was literally finding his faith again.
Okay.
I mean, I will say you're on the outskirts of the definition, but valid valid justification.
I've seen a couple people argue with the Avatar cast that they're all like druids, because of the different elements in Zuko.
No, look, like they 100% could be druids.
Druids or it's fucking
I mean, the obvious and easiest answer is Priestess from Goblin Slayer. She's literally a cleric. Like,
God damn it,
straight up. I'm not going to use her though, because I'm just trying to be interesting.
Well, but isn't she again? She's a priest though, isn't she?
Yeah, but it still could be like I know you.
Like, she can do like she has. I don't know. She's wearing chainmail, which is like technically heavy armor. Or if not, I guess you could make an argument for Lizard Priest, who is straight up a cleric because he uses mostly combat magic and he's like doing kind of necromancy, but like totem summoning. Well, I guess you could argue he's also druid.
Well, no, I would argue totem summoning is a little more clerical because we don't have a shaman class really. So
true.
Yeah,
because totems are very explicitly godly in nature, although they are. Although totems in a lot of fiction are generally looked at as like a sort of nature-based magic, they do generally have an attachment to a god, because they are essentially effigies. That's probably getting a little deep in the weeds, but Anyway, yeah, I mean, that whole distinction between priest and cleric, I know is a muddy thing, but my understanding of that Goblin Slayer character, Isaiah, is that she's more priestly and a little more like, I'm not trying to throw down.
Yes, she tries to be as non-combative as possible.
So yeah, I mean, do you have what's another example?
Yes, I do. So the second one is the Lantern Corps. All of them. And because they get their power from an entity So, like, for example, Sodom Yat is the Ion entity. He literally has the spirit of the first creature that ever had willpower inside of his body. And all of the lanterns get power from this entity. And they channel it through their rings, which would be their focus. And if you don't have your faith, in this instance, your will or rage or hope, you can't create energy constructs. And the more of it that you have, the stronger your constructs become.
Yeah, I have no argument. I think Green Lanterns is a pretty good example. The only thing about Green Lanterns is, like, you make the argument they don't necessarily heal a whole lot, but
they can't heal, but they can mend. So, like, we've seen Hal Jordan create, like, casts and staples and shit out of will.
Yeah.
So I know back in the ye olden times of, like, superheroes, the whole thing with every superhero had a weakness. The Green Lanterns was like organic matter, like wood and human flesh or something. It was really strange.
The color yellow.
Every DC.
The color yellow. Yep.
Marvel,
back then.
That was a DC specific thing. Marvel heroes didn't have weaknesses.
No.
Which maybe, I think, side note, maybe we should bring that back. But anyway.
Correct. My final one, and this one's the real outer space one.
Okay.
Major Tanya Degurachev from the Saga of Tanya the Evil.
Is that the isekai with the little girl?
No, I refuse to. No.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Okay, right? When she gets isekai, When she gets isekai into the new world, she's given power. She has free use of that power. In that moment, she's 100% a sorcerer or a wizard. I would argue wizard because there's like mathematic equation involved with casting spells. However, when she gets her new, like the improved computation jewel, literally God himself puts a contract on her that's like, anytime you want to use magic, you need to pray. And every time you pray, I will infect your brain with faith, which will give you more faith, which means you will pray more, which means you'll cast more magic. Ergo, she is a caster of faith. Ergo, she's a fucking cleric.
So the only stipulation for the only stipulation for you is the caster of faith part.
Yes.
Yeah. See, okay, that's where I think our definitions differ. I think you need a little more than that.
Because it sounds like a called with extra steps.
I kind of. Yes, Isaiah, or yes, Matt. That is indeed the little girl isekai into the World War II situation or World War I situation. Yeah. That one's,
I like how you're just like can't tell if you're dumbfounded by this.
That one's a little stretching, I think, because again, my definition is a little more than just faith casting. But I kind of see the argument. I liked your Zuko argument better. To be honest.
I knew Tanya was a little bit out there, a lot of bit out there.
That one's a lot of bit out there.
But it does actually work.
I guess.
I could see, yeah, I guess. I mean, I haven't seen shit from the show.
She also has moves like Guiding Bolt in her computation spells.
Every time you talk about this show, it gets weirder.
Yes, but it's amazing.
Is it actually good? I keep hearing. Okay.
I've watched it twice. Sam has watched it 3 times. We've both watched the movie like 3 times each.
There's a movie?
Yes, it's very good.
Oh shit.
Anyway.
Please watch Joe Senki. It's very, very good.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, I have a couple other examples as well, just like for fun, as always. Much like Isaiah with Avatar, a lot of people on the interwebs believe that Katara could be some sort of, probably more priests now, thinking about it, as Josh kind of defined it earlier, with the healing magic and then the weird water magic.
Yeah, that one's
Sakura from Naruto.
Sakura. Okay, I like Sakura better.
Okay, why would you say Sakura? Because for me, again, this is based on my assumption that you're a faith healer.
Yeah.
Why Sakura?
So the argument that I found, this isn't something I think of. This was just I Googled a shit ton and just grabbed that people like thought of, like what other people think of, and I'm like, oh, this could be an interesting conversation starter. I guess a lot of people, the argument of Katara is not necessarily the belief aspect, so she probably wouldn't be a good representation of a D&D cleric necessarily, but she does have the belief of Tsunade and the belief that the training and that everything that she is learning will impact her ability to heal people, to save her friends, and anime power of friendship and all that nonsense.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is the internet's example. What else? I told Isaiah this earlier before we started recording. The McManus brothers from the Boondock Saints, holy clerics of the Lord, doing the Lord's work by murdering the shit out of people.
Oh no, sorry. Right, Boondock Saints.
Boondock Saints.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a big no on that one because I feel like you have to bare minimum have some fucking magic. They just
what do you mean? They do have
people.
magic. The power. Every time they pray to the Lord, someone dies. Josh, it just happens.
Yeah.
Whether by circumstance or just by their own.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna go with no on that one. If it was modern day D&D version, maybe.
Yeah. Let's see. Two from video games. The Tales series. I don't know if any of you guys have played
I know
the Tales
of
video
them,
games.
but I don't know any of the characters.
Every game they have, like, you know, there's the fighter, there's the healer, there's the magic user. So there's a couple different examples, like Laphicet from Tales of Berseria, Estelle from Tales of Vesperia. One actually thing, because another example, we're all nerds. A lot of people made the argument that Jedis and Sith are clerics, that they're all clerics because they believe in the Force and that the Force gives them powers, until midichlorians came into existence and now they're all sorcerers. That pray.
I understand the argument, but I can't. I refuse to I cannot. I understand what they're getting at, but I just thematically a Jedi is so off from what I think of as a cleric. I can't do it. That's too far. Yeah. That is too far.
Right. No, I agree, and I'm like, I could see it, but also
I understand the argument you're trying to make. No. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say this with the Sakura example. The faith situation's a little wonky just because religion in the Naruto universe is a little wonky, to say the least. But
yeah, I don't even remember a religion in Naruto.
They have gods. The god of chakra is, you know, essentially the big bad of the entire series, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
The tailed beasts are sort of deities, kind of
quasi deity
situation. But the thing with Sakura though is I think she ticks a lot of the other boxes. You know, she has the very discreet and straightforward healing magic. She has buffing magic. She uses the magic to buff herself. She gets in there and lays the smack down the few times that she actually gets to fucking do anything. You know, I think she ticks a lot of the other boxes. So if they literally the only thing I would think that Sakura would need to make her like definitely on point for a cleric would be to have like a faith-based magic, but you could make the argument that chakra has a certain amount of that to it, kind of, sort of. It's sort of a faith in self situation. So, you know, maybe.
It's more of like mana. Like
it's more like mana, but
it's literally, if like you can run out of faith and not die. If you run out of chakra, you're fucked. Like
true. You know, there's some wishy-washy on the faith part, but I think Sakura checks the other boxes. Is my point. Kind of like my argument with Sypha. How I was saying that Sypha doesn't check the box necessarily of innate magical capability, but she checks every other box for a sorcerer. It's kind of that situation. You know.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't have a follow up there. I don't know why I made it.
That's why
I don't know why I made it seem like I did. I didn't have a follow up there.
Yeah. And for our next questionnaire for 300 points, have any of you guys played a cleric in D&D in either any edition? I know Josh, you played 4E for a little bit.
I ran
4E, right. Sorry, ran 4E. Never played. But have you guys played a cleric before? Because I've played a cleric. Brother. Oh, you have played. Oh,
yeah,
for
sir.
A whole 2 sessions.
Incorrect, sir. I think I've played 3 clerics.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yes, there was Barrick, who was the unfortunate 2-session scenario. But I also
Oh my God.
I also had Hymn of Battle, who I played for quite a few sessions and was a war domain Kenku cleric. I feel like there was another one I played that I'm forgetting.
It wasn't in neither of the one shots I ran, right?
No.
No, yeah, because you played the what did you play in the 2 one shots? The kobold was
I played
the
a ranger and a fighter.
ranger fighter. Right. Okay.
I feel like I'm forgetting a character, but anyway, point being, yes, I've definitely played Cleric. Love Cleric a lot.
Yeah, Isaiah.
I know Isaiah has.
Yeah, I've played a few of them. Obviously, Ilias started his life as a cleric who, at level 4, automatically gained 4 levels of rogue. So he leveled up 4 times in the span of 1 instant.
Every time you bring that up, my brain melts out my ears.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm just doing the blink
the
gif
white man
right now.
blink
I'm just
meme.
like,
Yeah. I played. What are the other clerics I played? I've played a few. I can't remember any of their names though.
There are so many.
All right.
I've played like 3 of them. Yeah, I can't. What the hell? I'm like blanking on the other clerics I played. Brain no worky today, I guess. Oh, I played a Dragonborn cleric for a while named Draka. For about 2 or 3 sessions. That's when I was running for my younger brothers.
Nice. Oh, shit. That's
I had
cool.
it. Yeah, because there was 2 of them doing Horde of the Dragon Queen. So I was like, I'm just going to throw a cleric in there to help them not explode violently.
Right. Were they what domain were they? It was just a.
It was it Domain of Redemption? No, that's not a domain. It was the one where it's like helping people
Peace.
who've done wrong. Yeah.
Oh no, Peace wasn't out at that point.
So probably life.
Life.
It may have
Life
been
is the
life.
healing
Yeah.
one?
Life is
his
the
whole thing was
default
like he was
healing
a golden dragon of Bahamut that betrayed him, so he got turned into a red dragonborn. And he was actually going to be like an antagonist to the game once the players got to that point. I was going to replace him with that black half dragon character in the pits.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. Nice.
And I played one more. I'm trying to think. Whatever. So I played at least 2. I know I played more, but I can't remember.
Yeah. I've only played cleric once. I'm kind of sad about it. It was in like a mini campaign. I played dwarf forge cleric. Like tinker, like to build shit. I really like the forge cleric.
Yeah,
it's
the forge one's cool.
It's so sick. Tried basically like I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna make the best shit. And the DM was really cool because he made a like homebrew system of like anytime I kill monsters, I can get scraps, and then I take those scraps and I can turn them into material to make, gear for my party. Stuff. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be real necessary in the mini game, but your campaign, but I appreciate it. And then the other thing, so in the Storm King's Thunder game, I have been heavily debating on dipping my Lizard Wizard, Abjuration Wizard into Cleric. Yeah, specifically Arcana domain. Because I do have the ability to do it, but I put it off for so long, mostly because it's like I'm one of those guys. I know I joke on the multi-class thing, but I really want to play a wizard to like the maximum. But I feel like there's the story arc with him and Azuth, the god of wizard, and doing a couple quests for him. I feel like, yeah, my dude would probably worship Azuth. We would probably be some sort of cleric, probably Arcana domain. But I don't know how far.
Where's Arcana from?
It's one of the few from Sword Coast Adventures Guide.
Ah, that explains why I didn't know about it.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's doable. Like you can make it work as I'm gonna be the cleric wizard, the arcane, kind of magic-y more so cleric. It has a lot of blasting capabilities. Its main shtick, like the divination, is mostly about banishing other like creatures like fiends and aberrations and stuff, which is kind of nice because you're like, yeah, I'm making sure all these like magical monsters are out of my plane. Get the fuck out of here.
All right.
Okay. So at some point, because right now Storm King's Thunder, we're on a bit of a hiatus. The DM is taking a little break, and we hit level 14, which is that's your highest level of subclass features you get as a wizard.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, okay, I think I can finally now actually dip into cleric if I really want
Matt,
to.
then you don't
because I
get
don't think we're ever going to
signature
get the
spell.
20. I don't care. It's my signature spell is counter spell, and it's probably not going to be in the next edition, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to make
I'm sorry,
abuse the
Matt,
shit out of it.
No,
yeah,
you're out of your fucking mind if you think they're taking counterspell out of the game.
I hope they don't, but
They're
it
not.
seems like
They're not.
Yeah.
They're not. That is dumbass propaganda from Reddit. They're not taking counterspell out of the game. They're not taking short rest out of the game. They didn't really nerf
Well, short rest, I
counterspell
don't
that
think-
much. Don't get me on this fucking train. I hate all these stupid theories people keep making that are just straight up wrong. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, at some point I would like to dip into Arcana, because like if you look at like a lot of the subclasses, the only ones that are really like you can do for like big brainess with the domains is like Arcana for more magic-y stuff or knowledge.
I would argue knowledge, nature. What was the other one?
Yeah.
Nature.
Well, it also
light has some like big brain boy energy.
Yeah. Well, I guess it also depends on like the god, because like how
It does, yes.
how it works is you pick a god, and that god has specific domains.
Where is my god of greed cleric though? Where is my big greedy give me all that money cleric?
I feel like there is one. I don't know if it's mask.
Nope.
No.
Nope. I looked through them. There is no god to what's the money bitch in
Timora?
Forgotten Realms?
How dare you, money bitch, sir? Timora, the
It's
god
not-
of adventurers and luck.
Not
No,
Timora. No, the one in
Archdevil.
No. Fucking she's in or not she's in, but there's a big temple to her in Tomb of Annihilation. What the hell is her name?
Timora.
No, it's not Timora. There's a money god. There's a god whose whole shtick, Joaquin. That's the one I was thinking of.
Joaquin?
Joaquin.
Interesting.
Waukeen. She's like
Okay.
she's like a merchant goddess. She's like, give me all that money, bitch. Yeah.
All right.
I guess technically she's a trade god, but you know, you trade for that moolah, baby.
Right. Okay.
It's not about the money, Spider-Man.
It's about no, it is about the money, Spider-Man. In this case,
It's all about the money,
in
Spider-Man.
this case, it's all about the money. But anyway,
Yeah. All right. So we all dipped our toes in the clerics, some different levels. I know we usually ask this at the end, but I feel like because we're all talking about this now, like out of all the many subclasses, not including anything from like the Amonkhet stuff or UA or any of that shit, what is your favorite subclass of cleric? There's so many. Like
Yeah, oh God, there's, I really can't choose between all the domains of Twilight.
really? God, I hate you. Fuck.
No, honestly, it's Grave. Grave is so fucking cool.
It is pretty cool.
no, wait, grave or death?
Grave.
Grave. Okay.
The one that just
Yeah.
says LMAO. I cancel crits and I double damage.
Yeah.
Right? Holy shit, that's so good.
If not that one, Tempest is sick. Forge is sick. Like,
Yeah.
I think
That's what I'm
it's,
saying. Like,
think-
like there's not really a bad option when you
I
come to like
think my
clerics.
favorite's war.
War's a good
Yeah,
one.
war is pretty.
But I do
war's pretty
also
cool.
like life, because I don't usually play the healer, but if I am gonna play the healer, I like to have the biggest healer PP. You know?
in Storm King's Stun, there are cleric is a life cleric, and holy shit, he makes such a difference. Grigor is the man.
Yeah.
Actually, and then when we get back to Divine Intervention, he's actually got it to work every time he's done it, and he's done it like 3 or 4 times.
Should
in
we
our
just
campaign.
go to should we
Divine
just
Interventions?
Yeah.
All right, hold
it's
on.
kind of nuts.
All right, hold on.
He's so lucky. Yeah.
Well, okay, Matt. I guess you say your favorite first, and then we
Yeah,
we need to get into the divine intervention thing.
Sorry,
we need to
no,
talk
I
about
just
this.
wanted to say that
do,
because
yes, we
I
do.
have him on the mind because life cleric.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, Forge is probably my favorite
Forge,
just because I love the idea.
I do
of
like
the
Forge.
The tinkery claw. Also, it gets so many cool like abilities like the fire damage
Yeah,
and being able to make any weapon a +1 or
My
armor
thing-
+1.
The thing I noted with Forge Cleric is I actually wrote down Blessing of the Forge is fucking dope. You could just make a piece of armor or a weapon into a +1 magic bonus
Yeah,
every
dude.
long rest. That's fucking sick.
And you don't have to wear it. You can give it to
you could give it to somebody.
ally.
You could be like, hey, yo, paladin. You just like, I love the image of like, hey, yo, paladin, give me your longsword. And then the next morning you wake up and you've like, it's got like magical flaming veins running from the base of it. And you're like, magic sword. And he goes, oh.
Right. And this is like, it's, I don't know why, because again, I played the dwarf cleric, so, you know, to quote Jeremy Crawford, I wanted to be the dwarfiest dwarf. So that in my mind was like, forge cleric, of course.
Yeah, of course. The dwarfiest of dwarfs.
I know as much as it's not, I like the theme of the Arcana domain more than some of the abilities. Yeah, we're saying light's pretty cool.
Life.
Actually, as much life. Sorry, I don't know why I said
not
light.
Light. Light is it's okay.
I have an idea for playing a nature cleric at some point in the future, but I don't know, like maybe a furbolg just wearing a bunch of wood armor. I don't know.
You know which one I do hate? Fuck Peace Domain. Peace Domain's so fucking stupid.
So can we, I guess this is going to jump into like the Tasha's, because I do want to talk about both of the Peace and the Twilight domain. Wait. Different. Yeah.
We've got this like divine intervention constipation that I feel like we need to shit out.
All right, divine intervention first. Divine intervention is the greatest ability of all time. There's my answer.
I love divine intervention.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's such a cool, apparently, I don't remember. I think in one of the videos with actually on Todd Kenrick, I don't remember if he was talking to Chris Perkins or Jeremy Crawford, but they were talking about in older editions how divine intervention used to work, and then compared to what it was now. Because I think in 4th edition it was like a feat or an ability or some shit. I could be wrong.
Well, my thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a. You know. Divine Intervention, I think, is super sick because it is an ability that, to me, and this is the same reason I really love the capstone abilities for paladins, is Divine Intervention is, this is my class's thing, and I'm gonna double down so hard, right? Because, you know, you could say you're a cleric and all this shit, but are you really a cleric if you've never summoned your fucking god, right? Like, Divine Intervention is so commit to the bit, you know? And the fact that at level 20, you don't have to roll, you can just call up God and be like, hey, yo, smite this man right now, is my fucking... Because we've talked about the capstone abilities. A lot of them are shit, but the cleric capstone ability is fucking sick because you just get divine intervention, no questions asked.
No questions asked.
Look, you do,
Lord, I need
great.
Assistance, please.
So, like,
yes,
that's awesome. I love that you get it at level 20 for freebies, and there's basically nothing anyone can do about it. That's sick. My problem with divine intervention is at level 10,
it comes
you
up
only
not
have a
that
10% chance to do it.
Yes.
And because you're rolling a D100, it feels a lot lower.
I think that's kind of the point.
Well, okay, sure, but it feels like an ability that they're just sort of cock teasing you with. Like, oh, look at this thing that you could do, not that you will do, or you actually have a chance to do if probability wants to fuck you. You could do it though. Isn't that cool? And the answer is no. That's bullshit. I fucking hate that.
So here's the thing, Isaiah. What you're running into, what you're feeling, this tension deep in your loins that is torsioning your testicles right now. The problem is you're running into mechanical gameplay balance and design and funitude, that's not a word, versus thematic design, right? Because the problem is thematically it makes a lot of sense that you're only level, granted level 10 is still pretty strong, which is why you have the option even at all, but you're only level 10, you're only halfway to your potential journey. Your god is not that likely to, like, they'll notice you because you're level 10, you've been calling on their abilities quite a lot, but it's not like you're their favorite child quite yet, you know? So from a thematic standpoint, it makes a lot of sense that as your levels go up, your chance to get the attention of your god goes up.
Which, look, I get it.
Hold on. Not done yet. From a gameplay standpoint, you are correct that it kind of fucking sucks nuts that there is, if you are unlucky, there's a chance it will just never, ever, ever, ever happen because it is such a thematically cool ability and reinforces the theme of the cleric so well, it does suck if you never get a chance to use it. So I think, and I've mentioned this before, very simple fix. And I will just put this energy out there in the world and hope that DMs accept this or use this.
I think we're about to say the same thing.
Let the first use of divine intervention just happen.
Fucking preach. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just let it happen.
Thank you. Oh my fucking God.
Don't roll.
Thank you.
Let the first one just happen.
Yeah.
It's not like.
Let the other ones be rolls, but let the first one just happen.
Yeah, right. Because it's like you've made it. There are how many clerics are actually capable of level 10 strength, right?
Right.
Not many.
Very few in lore.
So if anyone was gonna slide you a divine like crisp high five, it would be the level 10 fucking cleric. So and look, I understand that it's like people are like, it's basically a wish spell, correct? And I understand that that's why you have to roll for it. But at least give them the fucking first one for free, for God's sake.
Give them like a good drug dealer. Give them a taste first, then they'll come back.
Here's my thing. I would argue it's not even basically a wish spell, right? Because so the wording of it is imploring your deity's aid requires you to use an action. Describe the assistance you seek and roll the percentile dice. If you roll a number equal or lower, blah, 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 your deity intervenes. The DM chooses the nature of the intervention. It's not really a wish spell. You're saying...
Yeah, so
it can be, though.
The reason why I say it's like a wish spell is because it says the effect of any cleric spell or cleric domain spell.
Would be
So the idea is that
appropriate.
you can use spell to replicate any other spell. Sorry, you can use wish to replicate any spell in the game.
True. The thing is, at the end of the day, you're essentially summoning... The thing about the wish spell is you using your own power. Divine intervention is essentially calling an NPC for help. At the end of the day, if you're calling an NPC for help, you're calling an NPC. The GM controls the NPC. They can adjudicate the situation, right? Like, obviously, this is not me saying be a dick and just like have the god come down and do basically nothing. But you can control what the god's response to the situation is. If you don't want it to be like, if the player asks for something stupid, you could just justify it and be like, well, your god's doesn't trust you that much, but they'll help, and then you don't get exactly what you want.
This is not a call out, but this is kind of a funny thing that happened to me once.
Oh.
I did a level 21 shot and I got a magic item. I got like a holy symbol that would give me one, as someone who wasn't a cleric, I got a holy symbol that would give me one divine intervention. If I got like, because he was like, oh, you can take like X amount of magic items, right? Like most one shots do that. And the GM came to me and was like, so if you don't take those magic items, I'll give you this thing. And I was really excited. I was like, oh shit, that's super cool. I can't wait. This is gonna be great. And then it came down to it, final fighting the final boss. I used the thing, and then he goes, this character is under the effects of the hex spell at 9th level. I'm like, that doesn't do anything. He's like, he didn't mean to say like correct, but he was like, I was like, all that does is increase that hex time for a week. And he was like, yep. I was like, so I didn't take magic items for hex.
What a dick.
He like, after I talked about it, and I was like, that was kind of a shitty thing. And he was like, yeah, I realized that now. I feel kind of bad about it. I was like, it's all right, because I was never really in any danger in that one shot. Like, I did a pretty good job keeping myself in a strategic location, even as a frontline fighter. But there was a time I was a little miffed, to say the least, when he was like, you get hex. All right.
Yeah.
You what, mate? I think he thought that hex could be upcast like most spells, where it just does more damage.
It does.
Because 9th level hex, that's a 9d8 additional damage. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I don't think he read the minutia of the spell, and I think it's with that thing where he's like, well, I've said it. Moving on.
I mean, yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's all right. Like I said, not mad, but I'm laughing about it now. It was very, very funny.
I do understand I understand your frustration, Isaiah, with the potential of it never being used. And so, yeah, I think give the first one for free. And then obviously once they hit level 20, they get it for free. Let them use it a whole bunch in between. And, also not for nothing, if you're a player, if you try to use it once a session, eventually you're going to get it.
Yeah, because like
True,
it has a once a long rest if it doesn't work. So literally
doesn't
you can
work,
just
yeah.
keep trying it every day until it works.
Yes.
I honestly, what I think it is, what would make me happier is if you could add your wisdom mod to your level. Right? So at level 10, let's say at level 10 you have 20 wisdom, it's not 10%, it's 15%.
It's 15. Yeah, I could see that.
At level 15 it's 20%.
Okay.
So like it doesn't seem like a lot, but that 5% does matter.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it makes sense to be like, oh yeah, my wisdom, which is my stat that everything's based on, increases my like holiness.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, can I tell a quick story from the Storm King's Thunder game?
No,
Yeah,
you
go for
can't,
it.
Matt.
All right.
Fuck you.
You're the host.
All right, well, I'm going to do it anyways
Fuck
because I'm hosting today. I'm in the big boy's chair, baby, rocking around. I don't know what the...
Rocking
God, I even tanged myself.
speed of set.
So,
Cut that out right now.
So slight spoilers for Storm King's Thunder, an adventure that is a wee bit old. We are in a massive giant temple, basically dedicated to every giant god. Unfortunately, the big bad evil of the campaign, who happens to be a very powerful magical blue dragon lady, showed up.
Ladies.
And she basically cornered us, and we could not escape. One of the things the DM kept telling us throughout the game, and this kept happening to me because being the wizard and being an asshole with Dimension Door and Misty Step, the temple specifically. Yeah, basically.
Hold on. Can we just take a moment to appreciate that Misty Step is the asshole move in every game?
Yep.
Hi, Sam.
Yeah.
Sam from the Warp. Hi.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
we
he
just hear
kept,
Garugamesh in the distance.
So in the temple itself, the giants prevent people from teleporting in and out of the temple. So you can't teleport. And every time I would try and cast a teleport spell, because I was, the wizard, and I was just, let me test something for science. I mean, magic. I would try to cast any of my teleport spells and nothing would happen. And I'm like, fuck. So later on, big blue dragon comes, attacks, fucking our shit up. She has an army of gargoyles attacking us, and we literally cannot escape. And so the cleric, Grigor, he's like, can I try a divine intervention to try and get us to teleport out? And the DM was hesitant at first because he's like, well, normally because this is a temple of a god, it's specifically, they even put it in the adventure, you cannot teleport into or out of the temple. But
gods
he's
don't
like,
follow rules.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna let you try it. He's like, if you get the roll, if you get the roll, I'll let you guys teleport out. And I think he rolled like a 6 or some shit. And so we make the joke because he's rolled divine intervention like 3 or 4 times, and that was, I think, one of his first ones that he ever rolled, and it saved our asses. And we joke that he is Saloon's champion. He's the favorite of Saloon because we're all like, yes, the moon lady up in the sky is the best god.
The moon is good.
Yeah. So that was so clutch because we literally had no way of getting out of that temple without losing probably half the party.
Yeah, I mean, critical roll, right? Pike using divine intervention to punch a dragon out of the sky was, pretty lit.
That is to this day the most clutch divine intervention. Just the fist of God.
Literally.
I only think there's a video I watched. I told you guys about it, but it's about like a manga, and the character is supposed to like rip a tree out of the ground, and he's like, figure this out, you can sucker punch God. And just it's like got the energy.
Actually, it's also worth pointing out. I noticed something when I was reading through the cleric class that I really like this, and I feel like a lot of GMs maybe don't think about this too much. So a lot of the at the beginning of every class, there's a lot of like flavor text about like why you're a cleric and like what are you doing, and right, like every class has this like where'd you come from, what are you doing, Cotton Eye Joe, flavor text stuff.
I'm glad I also went there too. Thanks, Josh.
I guess I'm the only one who didn't then.
That section for the cleric very specifically and like not ambiguously, like very straight up says you're supposed to have a direct line to God. You and God are tight. You are bros. One of the suggestions for why your cleric is an adventurer now is because God told you to. You are supposed to be tight with your deity. If you have a cleric in your game and you say, no, you're too much of a loser, you don't get to talk to your god, you're a dickhead.
True.
Literally, the game says you are chosen by your deity to do your shit. You are supposed to be homies. Granted, when you're a low level cleric, maybe you can't tell God that you need help or what to do or whatever. But you are supposed to have, at least at some point in your life, contacted your god, and you are supposed to get messages and be homies with your god. That is the whole fucking point. Don't say to your cleric, no, sorry, you're not cool enough to get noticed by your god. They're not great old ones. They're not Cthulhu. They don't ignore their worshippers. If you are a fucking cleric, they know you exist. At the very bare minimum, they know you exist.
Yeah, especially in like, a case where like most of the D&D settings, it's like the Forgotten Realm where the gods are a real actual thing. Yeah. So it's very hard. Like I think Isaiah, you mentioned last time to be an atheist in D&D is very hard.
That was me, but
that was Josh, but I did agree. It is kind of a clown take.
Yes. Yeah, when it's literally like, you see that mountain? It's like Torm actually put that mountain there. I literally watched, my grandfather wrote a book about it.
Yeah, like it's fine for your character to be like, oh, I'm not religious. Like I don't believe in the gods and I don't pray to them, kind of like Conan, right? Like, right. I don't pray to you. I have no tongue for it. But to be like, they don't exist. It's like, bro, we literally just fought a demon. Like, what are you talking
literally
about?
When it says
demons exist, but gods, however, that's drawing the line.
In the little creating your character thing, one of the ones it says is, does your deity have a special task in mind for you? Like, you're supposed to be a homie with your god. You and your god are tight. Like, it just really bugs me that, because I know some DMs do this where they're like, yeah, you're a cleric, but you're a little piece of shit, so you don't like. If you have a cleric in your game, make their god relevant. That part of the reason that a player, it's that whole thing of like, if a player is picking a wizard, they want to get into the magical arcane knowledge shit. If a player is playing a warlock, they probably want to talk to their patron. If a player is playing a cleric, they want to talk to God. That's part of the fun of playing the class. Like, it's sort of like, it's like, I don't know how to put it.
Rest in pepperoni to every wizard who never found a fucking spell book in their campaign.
Exactly. It's the thing. It's like implicit mechanics, right? Like technically all that stuff, I'm like that whole chunk of paragraph at the beginning is just like fictional flavor stuff, but it's like implicit mechanics in that I'm choosing cleric, so I'm telling you, the GM, I'm interested in this aspect of the game, right? I'm picking a barbarian, I am interested in violence. I'm picking a wizard, I am interested in magic. Like I'm picking a rogue, I want to sneak into. If you have a rogue in your game and you do not give them the chance to sneak in, break, or steal something, what the fuck is the point?
Right. Actually, in Xanathar's guide, they have like a bunch of like cool new downtime activities you can do. They have religious services as one of them. You can do.
That's so fucking cool.
And it's so nice. And it's like, if you do the service, depending on your roles, you get 1 to 2 favors. And the favors could be anything from like a 50% reduction on spellcasting from another cleric in your church, or some kind of political favor, or a favor could also take the form of a deity's intervention, such as an omen, a vision, or a miracle, like divine intervention. Like fucking, that's so cool.
Yeah, I use those Xanathar's. Those Xanathar's downtime rules get used a lot at my game.
Yeah, same. They're good. Like Xanathar, like people out there buying D&D books. Xanathar's guide is probably
good.
Yeah, it's probably definitely one of the other like
one of the quintessentials.
Obviously, it's like you have the big 3. It's like, what book should I buy afterwards? It's like Xanathar's guide be the first fucking. Yeah.
The order is as follows: Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, DMG, Xanathar's Guide, Tasha's.
Right. The trifecta, if you will, the 4 main books. Sorry.
God damn it, Matt. Yeah, I know that was a bit of a fucking rant I just went on, but I know that is one of those things that some dickhead DMs do it, and I just fucking stop it.
Yeah,
stop it.
It's quite the piss take. Like,
stop it. I get it. No, with like the warlock, it's like, well, maybe I don't want to deal with my patron. Fine, if you don't want to deal with your patron, that's cool. But like,
but like,
if you want
it
to,
it's the player's decision. Yeah.
You know, and again, and some of the patrons, it does explicitly say this patron probably doesn't notice you. You know, but the cleric gods, not the case.
Yeah. God, I'm gonna have a time. Right now I have one warlock in the party, and one of my players is going to be dipping warlock later on, so I'm gonna have 2 patrons to deal with.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's gonna be fun.
I had a patron swap essentially.
Yeah, it was,
Oh, that's interesting.
quite the session.
Because Sam went from
warlock to paladin.
So do they swap patrons, or do they swap patron for god? Like,
that's a complicated question in my setting. So we're gonna use the word patron.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I do not have time to get into that one right now.
I just see the new gods like, I don't believe in the term deity. I prefer all powerful being. It's like, okay, sir.
Yeah, there's a lot.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're pretty on brand on that one.
Kind of.
Oh shit, am I?
Kinda, yeah. You kind of are.
Nice.
But that's a whole other thing.
But yeah, getting back to I don't know, random clerical stuff. After divine intervention, can we talk about the Tasha's stuff real quick? The peace and Twilight domain.
Sure. I feel like your complaints are going to be different from mine, but sure.
Well, what are your complaints? Because my complaints mostly are like the 2 main abilities that both subclasses get are pretty powerful compared to some of the other clerical abilities, but my main beef is the Twilight Cleric getting way too much nonsense for its own good. Peace Domain, I see the arguments on Reddit and people being like, oh, it's too strong with the divine, it's the temporary HP it gets, right?
Yeah, it's the emboldening. It's the
emboldening thing.
No,
and it's like,
Balm of Peace.
Yeah, Balm of Peace. Yeah. And it's literally like, so they're just going to be constantly have this like added D4. Granted, it's a D4, so it's not a lot.
Oh, no, that's like, the emboldening bond. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's what I'm talking about.
The emboldening bond is the D4. The Balm of Peace is you run around the battlefield and heal everyone you run past.
Right.
Okay,
what are your complaints? Because I'll save Twilight Cleric for another look. A little bit later.
I've been on the record. I've said many times the concept of balance, and I'm doing air quotes here. The concept of balance in the game, I really don't give a fuck. I do not care that Peace Cleric is very strong or that Twilight Cleric is very strong. Literally could not give a rat's ass about how powerful they are. My problem with the Peace Cleric is it's fucking stupid. It's not a Peace Cleric, it's a healing cleric. Nothing about the Peace Cleric is a Peace Cleric, because doing a Peace Cleric is basically impossible in D&D and was a stupid attempt. I don't know why they even bothered, but it's basically just a really good healing cleric. That's what it is.
Wasn't it in the UA? It was originally the love cleric, and then that got into some controversy. So they're like, no, it's not it's not love. It's a peace. Yeah, totally not love.
The love cleric was also stupid and weird. I'm not even going to defend that one.
That was problematic to say the least.
It was problematic, but even if you don't care about the problematic parts, it was also just dumb. Like, it wasn't very good, and I don't think the Peace Cleric is much better because, as I've said many times, for me, it's all about mechanics, reinforcing theme. Nothing about the Peace Cleric says to me, I'm a keeper of peace. Everything about the Peace Cleric is, I give buffs and heals.
I was gonna say, Josh, they get incredible violence.
But they can proficiency with insight, performance, or persuasion. Such peaceful skills.
Yeah. Literally, emboldening bond is all of my friends get guidance, and Balm of Peace is I run around the battlefield like a chicken, healing everybody.
But Josh, at 8 levels, they get potent spellcasting.
Yeah, which deals more damage. So peaceful, the extra damage on my cantrips.
Yeah, right?
And then Protective Bond is literally just, I teleport. I mean, Protective Bond is the only one that feels kind of peaceful, I guess, because you're sort of protecting a friend from getting hurt. But then Expansive Bond just makes your 2 bond features better. So it's like, it's just heal and defend cleric. And then Twilight is thematically, Twilight is better. But there's some really weird things. Like, first of all, they get dark vision out to 300 feet.
Yeah,
unfucking necessary.
Why?
Yeah,
first of all, literally nothing else grants dark vision that far. Like, I don't even think magic items grant you that much dark vision.
Not even magic item, Devil's Sight.
You'd have to stack.
Right. So there's that. But even if we disregard that point, 300 feet is base. You might as well have just said infinite. Like, in what scenario is the GM gonna be like, in what scenario is your Twilight Cleric gonna be like, all right, GM, can I see him 300 feet away with my dark vision? And the GM's gonna look at him and go, no, in fact, because he is 350 feet away. Like, what?
Right,
when is that gonna happen?
As someone that plays on virtual tabletops, pointless. I never make a map.
Never.
Like, unless it's a big dungeon, I'm never making a map that's 300 fucking feet.
Literally a
what like the actual fuck.
It literally is just a big number for the sake of a big number. It might they might as well have wrote the word infinite.
Just give him superior 120 feet. Like, what the fuck? 300?
Yeah, just do the 100.
And then the fact that you can share it?
And then you can share it, which is even funnier. And also, like, what the fuck?
Again, a bit of a piss take. Like,
it's really random. Yeah, you know.
But that, and then
Vigilant Blessing. I give advantage. I give advantage on initiative.
On initiative.
Why? Right, like
what is about the moon?
What about
Twilight
the moon? Right.
That gives me advantage on it?
Gives you advantage on it. Exactly.
Like
it makes no sense.
Because I can understand where it's because some subclasses in Tasha's, like unlike other subclasses in Xanathar's or especially the Player's Handbook, the Twilight Domain at level 1 gives you 3 very good fucking features.
I mean, look,
and the spellcasting list is also pretty goddamn great.
I don't really care about how many they get, you know.
Well, it's the 3 specific that they get. It's the heavy armor proficiency with martial weapons, the 300 dark feet vision that you can share, and the advantage on initiative.
Yeah, I mean,
like that's kind of nuts.
Again,
for level 1 player.
Whatever. I don't really care that they're very powerful. I mean, again, 300 feet of dark vision is basically pointless.
Right.
You might as well have just said infinite dark vision. Whatever. Dark vision is not like that crazy. And then their channel divinity, it gives you temp HP, which is like, I mean, there's still a
annoying.
Cleric.
I've seen it in a fight. It's
strong. I know. I've dealt with it. Like, there's still a cleric, so I guess temp HP is fine. The ending charmed or frightened, that one I kind of understand.
That one makes sense.
The steps of night, like on one hand, it's like it only works in dim light and darkness, and well, I guess flying for a moon-based character I can understand.
Yeah, I mean, Moon Knight flies.
Sure.
Sometimes.
Divine Strike, everyone gets, so that's fine. And then their Shroud ability, I like a lot. You give all your allies half cover in the sphere of your Twilight Sanctuary. That's makes sense, because they're in an orb of darkness.
Cool. Yeah.
So it's like, I just don't like that they're, like, weirdly off-brand.
Yeah.
That's the part that bugs me. I don't care that he's powerful. I don't like that thematically, if I was like, I want to play a shadowy cleric, this is not really doing that for me. You know, like I'm not really an ooky spooky cleric. Like why can't they grant like stealth advantage or like, you know, some sort of fairy fire type thing? Like I feel like there's so many.
Well, I think that's what tricks their
some sort of sleep ability. Like there's so many other ways you could have gone about this, and they're like, no, temporary HP and also advantage on initiative. It's like you just gave them good abilities because you didn't know what to give them. You know, like. I don't know.
Isaiah, what do you think of Peace and Twilight?
Pretty much the same thing. Like I'll be real. I haven't run Twilight. I haven't run anybody using Twilight Cleric, so I can't speak to its
Ant played a Twilight Cleric. Remember?
Kind of busted. Yeah, sorry, running Twilight Cleric.
No. I said Ant played a Twilight Cleric.
Oh, but yeah, I didn't run that.
No, but you saw it.
Yeah, well, yes, but you can see something and be like, oh, that's kind of crazy, but then you don't really know until you've like run it and you had to like go up against it and you're like, what the fuck?
I guess.
You know? I think it's really cool. I do. I am true to my cringe self, and it is pretty cringe, but that makes it pretty cool, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I do really like it. Like, I won't say anything particularly bad about it.
Why is Twilight Cleric cringe?
Because it's like, oh, my Twilight, you know, like it just, it
I
sounds,
balance the light in the dark.
Yeah,
oh my
it
God.
kind of sounds like, you know, my high school OC, Do Not Steal.
Oh, see, that's not how I thought about it. I think about it as like a moon cleric is how I
kind of. I mean, it could be interpreted both ways.
To me, the idea of the Twilight cleric is like, I am a cleric who's a little more nature tilted, and it's sort of the idea of the moon. The moon in a lot of religions has this connotation of like rebirth, renewal, resurrection type shit. So like I think it makes a lot of sense to have a cleric who's sort of about the nighttime and the peace of nighttime, right? Like to me, it's actually not about being edgy and dark. It's about like the calmness of nighttime and the calmness of the darkness.
Yeah, no,
right.
I get it. I do.
Well, it's not even really, because Twilight Domain even say it in the flavor text here. It's not even really a god of the moon. It's the god of the transition from light into darkness.
Yeah, I know.
And it literally says the darkness can also bring terrors, but the god of Twilight guards the horrors of the night.
Yeah, I know it's not a moon cleric, but to me, that's always how it felt. It feels like a moon cleric. I mean, the art. Yeah. Have you seen the art of the Twilight cleric?
Yeah, the art is fucking
it's a
the
moon lady.
It gets moonbeam.
Yeah,
like
it's a moon lady. 100%.
Yeah,
so, whatever.
Well, we are getting the Moon Sorcerer from Dragonlance coming out this year, so that's gonna be neat.
That'll probably fit that better, but whatever.
Yeah.
As far as peace goes, I like that. Yes, pacifist cleric is impossible, but peace is about as close as you're gonna get. It does fill a niche,
I fucking guess.
Peace sells, but who's buying?
I feel like if you want to do a peace cleric, it should have had less healing and more buffing.
Right. Yeah. Or shielding or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying it was perfect, but
no, you know what, Matt, you're probably right. Shielding probably would have been the way to go.
Yeah. Actually, so before we were recording, I was talking to Isaiah. The girl from Bleach. I thought for a second, I'm like, oh, could she be a cleric? But then Isaiah talked me out of it.
No.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It made sense for, because she had like the healing thing and the shield, but it's not really her faith that's doing it.
No.
If anything, Orihime would be a bard because she can technically do everything, right? She can attack, defend, and heal.
Oh,
she's just not particularly good at attacking.
Let's take every anime character and give them a D&D class, guys. Let's go. Starting now. I think Goku is a barbarian. No.
Stop it. Stop it.
Number 1, Vegeta.
Oh my god, please don't watch Mojo this.
Our top 10 D&D anime character.
All right, Matt, anything else you'd like to complain about?
I mean, I'm good for now. I got my Twilight cleric.
All right, let me look at my notes.
Yeah.
Aha. Hold on.
Aha,
let me find this
says.
one. I believe this is this Grave Domain? Hold on. Yes.
Is it the
Can we just... We haven't talked about Paladin yet, so I didn't get to bitch about this, but so I'm going to bitch about it here with Cleric instead. Eyes of the Grave. Y'all read Eyes of the Grave?
Is that the Spare the Dying ability for Grave Cleric?
Nope.
No?
No,
nope.
That's the... Can't you just see undead?
Let me read Eyes. Yeah, you wish that's what it was. Let me read Eyes of the Grave for you. At first level, you gain the ability to occasionally sense the presence of the undead, whose existence is an insult to the natural cycle of life. Mm-hmm. As an action, you can open your awareness to magically detect undead. Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds good.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yep, so far.
Until the end of your turn, you know the location of any undead within 60 feet of you.
It's just better divine sense.
That isn't behind total cover. Oh.
Okay.
And now we're back in divine sense. Why? There is a little bit more. It isn't protected from divination magic. The sense doesn't tell you anything about their capabilities or identity.
Josh, what if you like the NPC in your party for all this time was a vampire or a lich? Now you know. God. What the fuck?
First of all, it's a first level ability, so you would find out very quickly, Matt. What the fuck is the point? And this is the exact same beef I have with Divine Sense, by the way, which is why Divine Sense pisses me off to no end, because Divine Sense, the idea of Divine Sense is so fucking cool, and I hate that they shit on it so hard. What the fuck is the point of giving a class the ability to sense creatures that they cannot see if you can't sense them behind walls? You can't sense them behind walls or doors or windows? Think about what counts as total cover. Windows are total cover. Walls are total cover. Doors are total cover. Fucking a wall that is 3/4 up your chest is total cover. So if an undead is standing on the other side of a rampart, you technically could not sense them with this ability.
It works with invisible creatures. Like, let's say you're fighting a vampire in a church and the vampire turns invisible.
Don't
you
give
can
a
use
fuck,
this to
Matt. That is too niche. That is too
I know,
niche.
but I'm just trying to think of examples of where this would be helpful.
If the whole point of having an ability like this is so you can do the Dragon Ball Z and the Bleach thing of looking around and go, oh shit, there's a powerful dude nearby. That's literally the fucking point. By restricting it so it doesn't work past total cover, you basically make it a useless ability, right? Like, the whole thing is I, as a grave cleric, want to be able to walk up to the door and touch the door and close my eyes for a moment and extend my senses out beyond the door and say, there are zombies beyond this door. And I can't do that. Like, what the fuck is the point? If I can't do that, what is the point? It is a fucking pointless ability, and Divine Sense is the exact same problem, and Divine Sense makes me mad, just like this does. Rant over. For now.
Great.
Feel better, bud?
Yeah.
No, because I will feel better when they fix it. Like, am I crazy? Right? I'm not crazy, right? The whole point of these abilities is to do the Star Wars thing of where Darth Vader turns around and goes, "There's motherfuckers on my spaceship." You can't do that.
I have
though.
you now.
You literally cannot do that.
Yeah, that's a little.
Like you can't, because if there's a wall or a door, again, a wooden door blocks the ability. A regular wooden door. It doesn't even have to be a good wooden door. It could be a piece of shit plank put over a door frame. That's still technically total cover.
Unfortunately.
Fucking anyway, I really need to.
That's one of those ones where like it is annoying to hear. It is one of those things, thankfully, that like most GMs don't run it that way,
Just
and I know that that's not an excuse.
Yeah,
because either they don't think about it, or it's dumb and ridiculous, and they just don't do it. Because thankfully, it's not one I've had to deal with very much. I also, spoilers, not a huge fan of paladins in 5e, so we'll get to that when the episode comes.
Well, it's like it's because it's one of those things that you just assume. Isaiah's saying he's not a fan of paladins in 5e. He has very, very specific, very niche complaints. So
correct.
Okay.
It's not even really that he doesn't like paladin, but because he's told me about this whole thing. Well, anyway, the thing is when you read an ability like Divine Sense, before you even really read what it does, the assumption that you make is that, oh, I can use it to sense undead within a certain range of me. You just assume that's how it's supposed to work, you know? Because it just makes sense. But no. Wizards said no. Instead, we're going to make this ability worthless.
Or just be outside, forehead.
Yeah, just be outside.
Okay? Just have your zombies outside. God.
Yeah. Oh, wait. When they're outside, if they're within 60 feet, I could just see them? Oh. Well.
Just have your invisible zombies outside. God.
Oh, right.
Geez.
The invisible zombies,
God,
of course.
Game Masters, come on.
The invisible zombies.
So your one cleric can use this one ability.
Yeah. Side note. This is entirely unrelated, so I'm just going to jump to it, and I don't know how to transition, but
Sure.
Tempest Cleric just gets to fly?
Yeah, dude. Well, outside.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Tempest Clerics are again.
Why?
Me and Isaiah were talking about this before recording, where a lot of people. One of the examples I didn't pick. A lot of people when they play want to make like a Thor type of character.
Yeah. Thor's.
Most people just do Tempest Cleric because a lot of the abilities are close. Yes, Thor feels more like a paladin, but
I don't know. I think Thor feels pretty cleric-y.
Well, it's not really his faith that gives him. It's more his devotion to him, to his friends and family. No. Question mark.
No, it's his faith to himself.
I would call that like it's his own hype. It's a code he follows.
I mean, well, here's the problem. But the problem is that he's a god, right? So you get into a weird gray area because can a god be a cleric of themselves? You know? Like, if Thor was praying to a different god, would you argue that he wasn't a cleric? Because I feel like if he was praying to a different god, he would absolutely be a cleric.
No, I think, oh god, I think paladins can like be holy men as well, right? Like a paladin can pray to a god.
Yeah, but I think Thor feels more cleric-y to me though. Like he feels like he's like a Tempest Cleric kind of vibe.
Well, so like it's weird because I feel like
does quite a
the
lot of
abilities
spellcasting.
are Tempest Cleric, but I feel like he is more like a paladin or a fighter or something. Where like, yeah, he like Isaiah said, he believes in his own hype, not really like. He
But
doesn't
again-
feel faith-like to me.
But well, it is faith though. It's because he's a god, so his faith is himself, right?
Like, I know, but it's the
yeah,
MCU
'cause he is a god.
thing, right?
Well, here's the thing. Yes, it is a form of faith, but I don't think him being a deity affects it. It just
I think it does. Because the problem is there's no way to like if your deity is yourself, then of course you have to believe in your own faith because you are the faith.
well. So the Thor's ability does not come from his belief in himself. It's his oath to do the right thing.
That's up for debate, but okay.
Well, anyone worthy of the hammer, right? That's like you have to be noble. You need to be someone who'll fight for what's right. Like Thor will always have his lightning, sure.
I was gonna say, yeah, the whole
But his
point of
hammer
Thor, the whole
is
point
the
of
big-
Ragnarok is you're the god of thunder, not the god of hammers, right? Like,
Yes. Yeah. So he has
Yeah.
innate lightning magic, but his whole sense of being comes from that hammer, right? Like it's his moral compass of right and wrong.
I don't think it's quite that cut and dry.
I mean,
Especially because he
It
doesn't
kind-
have it anymore, and hasn't for a very long time in terms of
in
comics.
the movies,
No, in the comics he hasn't had it for a very long time either.
no, he has it. He
No,
100% has. Yeah, he does.
He had fucking Stormbreaker for forever.
No, he has never had Stormbreaker in the comics.
Or he had,
He has Yarnbjorn.
Yeah, he
and
had
that
an
was
axe thingy.
specifically in the King in Black, not the King in Black. That was the God Butcher shit when he lost his hammer fighting Magneto. It's a whole thing. But he came back as Galactus's herald, and he has that fucking hammer. He also died to Captain Marvel. It was the.
all right, this is a dumb argument. Moving on.
Anyways, Tempest Cleric, cool.
Anyways, Captain Marvel sucks.
I think I mean Tempest Cleric is fine. I just think the ability they get to just fly is like, I don't know.
I mean, isn't it a high ass level one anyway?
yeah, it's level 17.
Yeah.
Bro, 17, bro. All right, that's fine.
No,
That's
Can
fine.
cast the
If
fly
everyone,
spell.
Again,
if
for the
everyone in your
37
party isn't flying by that level, you're done fucked up.
No. For the 37,000th time, Matt, I don't care about how strong of an ability is mechanically. I'm talking about the theme of it. I think it's weird that they just get the ability to fly. I don't know if that really jives
Why, they control
with
the
theme.
winds. I mean, that was like Storm's whole deal. She was like, although if Storm's a cleric or sorcerer, you know,
Storm's definitely
anyways.
not a cleric.
Yeah, I know. But like, I mean, it makes sense, especially that they put that hard limitation of you cannot do this while underground or out indoors. Like that makes sense. But if like you're outside, think of it like what's the guy from Avatar? The bad guy. Fuck.
Ozai?
From Korra.
Amon?
No, the Red Lotus people.
Zahir.
Zahir. Yeah,
Fucking
think of
clown.
like Zahir. He gave up all worldly attachments. He watched his girlfriend's head explode. Now he can fly. Now he's not turned into the earth.
When she got fucking murked.
Yeah. It was so traumatic that, you know, his inner belief
We've
in the
spoken
air.
about this before, but I'm putting this into the universe. Can we please? She got fucking murked. Like, it's not even like the whole, like, when fucking Admiral Zhao dies because he gets pulled under by the fucking giant water elemental.
He doesn't even die.
No, he
they
does.
bring him back. No, they bring him. He's in the spirit realm in Korra. They
Yeah,
find
that means he's
him.
dead.
That means
No,
he's
he-
dead, Matt.
Is he?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
the spirit realm is the
afterlife.
afterlife, Matt.
Well, not everybody. No, because like only certain people get to go there. I thought
Yeah,
he was
but
just imprisoned there forever.
No, it's the afterlife, my dude.
Well, no, because mortals can travel in between. All right, never mind.
Yeah, but
Anyways,
no,
They can after a while,
they
but that's in like the you can plane shift to Mount Celestia kind of way.
Yeah, it's
okay.
not the spirit realm is the afterlife. The reason people could travel to it is because Korra thinned the connection between the physical world and the spirit world. That was the whole point of season 3 or 2.
Clerics.
That was the whole point of season 2. Anyway, so yes, she got fucking murked. Anyway, what the
Wait,
fuck?
hold on. Is Korra a cleric?
I don't think anyone. Look, I understand what you're going for. I don't think anyone in the Avatar universe really counts
No.
as a cleric.
I don't think you do. I don't think you understand.
I do. I just don't agree with you.
What do you think? What do you think? Where do you think I'm
Your
going?
Zuko argument.
No, actually, no, I'm not.
How is this different?
in season 2 of Korra, when Rava is killed, it cuts her off from the line of Avatar. She becomes her own line of a new line of avatars, which means she could theoretically speak to Roku in them, but they won't be a part of her anymore. So could you argue that a reason why she got her bending back after Rava is recreated, actually, her faith in Rava is kind of a thing. Rava is literally a deity of good. Like, she's kind of, for some reason, they fucked up and made a Christian sort of analog for Satan and God. But like, her faith in Rava, that's kind of what lets her tap into the Avatar state.
It sounds like you're trying to just make an argument that everyone in the Avatar universe is a cleric.
No, I mean, you can for all benders, but like, there is a very specific religious connotation to the Avatar and Rava.
I don't think the faith-based caster is the only requirement. So no, I don't agree with you.
I mean, I feel like it's the biggest one. Like, you can be a cleric without a god, but it's...
No. I'm not, no. You can't, like, yes, it is the biggest one. You need to have a faith of some kind, but I do not think it is the only criteria, because if it's the only criteria, you open it up to a lot of weird shit. Like, I don't think it's the only criteria. I think you need more than just being faith caster. You know, to be a cleric specifically, especially because you could be a faith caster, like even within the D&D universe, you can be a faith caster and not be a cleric, you know?
True.
Yeah, true.
So like, I think it's a little more complex than that.
So, okay, so spell it out for me like a simpleton, because that's what I am. So it's faith and what else?
I think you need
like a
to,
recap.
For me, I think you need to hit the points, right? Like you need to be a faith-based caster. You need to have sort of an emphasis on like healing or aiding in some fashion. Like I don't think you could really be a cleric if your whole thing is like making people feel utter pain and suffering. It could be a part of your thing. I think you kind of have to be a caster who's a little more in the shit than a wizard is. Like, I'm pretty strict on my definitions of, like, calling people classes, and I think most characters do not fall under D&D classes, is generally how I go about it. Like, I think you need to hit most of the key elements. So, like, it's not just you're a faith-based caster, or it's not just you're a Healy person, or it's not just, you know, like, you need to hit everything. Or almost everything.
I don't know. I feel like, because when you make the caveat, you need to hit every single topic.
Not everything.
Like...
A lot.
Like, sure. So, like, okay, let's say that there's 3 tenets, right, of being a cleric. Hitting 2 of them, I think, would classify you as a cleric, right? So it's like you're either a Healy defendy boy, or you're a faithy Healy boy, or a faithy defendy boy, or a defendy I murder everything with holy hellfire kind of way.
Well, they're not equal, because I do think the faith one is the most important one.
It is, yeah. I think, you know, the weakest one is probably the front line.
Well, I just gave a couple of examples. I'm not like, my criteria is not necessarily like hard coded. I go a lot by feel here. With this is not just the cleric, with everything. This is kind of how I vibe. That's why I said like, Sypha kind of feels like a sorcerer, even though she doesn't necessarily hit every point. I do feel like Sypha is a sorcerer. The feel thing, you know? Because that's, yeah, I don't have like a spreadsheet. But I think you're being too loose with the definition, is my point.
I don't think I am. I think I'm being pretty strict about it, but I think, like, the faith thing is, to me, like, 60% of the grade.
I guess, but, like, if you just say anyone who's a faith-based caster could be a potential cleric, then you're basically saying any sort of priestly character in anything ever is a cleric, which I, like, don't think.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to tell me the bad guy in Conan's a cleric?
Yes.
No, I would say he's an evil wizard with some priestly tenets.
Well, he is the archpriest of a religion. I would pretty much call that a cleric.
Yeah, but no, that's the thing. I don't think that's the thing. Just because you're a priest is like priest and cleric are not the same thing to me. That's my point. Right?
Well,
like,
they kind of in this sense, they kind of have to be, because there's no priest class. Right? Like, if we're talking about this in terms of 5e, there's no priest.
But what I'm saying is...
I always thought a priest was like some sort of cleric.
I know in 5e there is no priest, but when I'm looking at...
I agree with that.
When I'm looking at media, there is a distinction for me. So just because someone is a priestly character in the way that they are portrayed does not mean they qualify as a D&D cleric in my world. Like, I'm not going to call the bad guy Thulsa Doom or whatever the fuck his name was. I'm not calling him a cleric. I'm calling him an evil wizard with some, you know, fucking priestly following and some like priestly stuff he does, but I'm not calling him a cleric. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like a cleric is like a very specific thing to me. My range on cleric is very tight. Much tighter than like rogue or fighter, for example.
Well, so like I don't think that my range on cleric is necessarily loose. It's just a different avenue.
Well, you said the only criteria is faith-based caster.
Well, not the only one. It's the biggest one though. Like I said,
Okay,
it's
you
60%
said
of the
only before.
I did, but I did like walk that back and say 60%.
All right, I guess. Why are we still having this argument?
No, that's the whole point of the episode.
No.
I know, but I wanted to talk about other shit.
I mean, we got 10 minutes left. What much else are we gonna cover?
That's my point. I didn't want to be on jury about this.
Okay.
Matt.
Yeah. What up? I'm here.
Matt, you're hosting, sir.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you had more to say. That's why I was leaving the floor to you. I mean, I have nothing really else to add. I think the only thing I probably would do is go back and change my number. I think I definitely want to change from 4 to 5 now, just from after our talk, because I definitely like I said in the very, very beginning, it's a very thick, strong, thematically awesome class. But like for some reason in the back of my mind, I'm like, there's probably something I'm not liking. So I don't think it's like the best, or like probably like, I think I gave a wizard a 5, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Oh, I never talked about the reasons why I'm kind of like not vibing with cleric.
Oh yeah. Oh, you've got stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so Josh brought up a funny point where he said like, I wish cleric was maybe a little bit more restrictive, and he said that's funny because it's not usually how I do things. Correct. In like a single player, it's just me kind of way. But like, my thing is with cleric is that they give you so much options when it comes to attacking and healing that I feel like at times some players are like, well, am I supposed to do one or the other? Like, how am I supposed to balance this? You know? Like, it's a whole joke in Critical Role that Jester just like does not heal people.
I mean, do you really have to balance it though? Because my thing is, I think you just make a choice early on when playing the character what thing you're going to focus most on.
Yeah, like maybe what you're going to focus most on, but like it becomes a thing where it's like, you know, the other players in the party are relying on you as the cleric to at least heal them somewhat. So it's like, you know, it's like, oh, well,
Yeah,
the
there's
cleric
that
isn't
thing.
healing, but the cleric doesn't want to heal.
Right.
I kind of wish like the cleric could do a lot of attack shit, but they were mostly focused on healing and debuff. Like enough so that like a level 20 cleric had some really good attack spells, but like, you know, 2/5 of them are attack, 3/5 of them are healing, you know?
Well, I guess it depends
Isn't
on the
that kind of
subclass.
how it is right now, though? I feel like
Yeah,
it is.
because if you go,
There's not that many heal spells in the game.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you don't
maybe
need
that.
a lot of.
Maybe that's the
Sorry.
problem. There's not enough not enough buff and healing spells, right? Maybe that's.
Well,
the problem.
I mean, do you really need a lot of healing spells? I mean, buffing spells, I think, yeah.
I think
but, like,
the
do you
game
really
absolutely needs more buffing spells. Yes.
Yeah, buffing spells, yeah, but like healing spells,
Healing
do we really need
spells,
like
I guess
like
not.
cure wounds, healing word, heal. I'm probably
Power
thinking
word
there's probably
heal.
power word heal, mass cure wounds, mass.
Yeah, I mean,
healing.
there's-
Yeah, like
yeah.
I think there's a good amount of healing spells that like I don't need different options on which ones to pick, because it's like if I'm low level, I gotta pick cure wounds or healing word. If I'm high enough level, I can get the mass cure wounds or mass healing word or whatever. Or actually, I don't even think mass healing word's a thing, right?
Yeah, it is.
Or it is a thing. Okay, yeah.
No,
or
but-
heal if I want to like just ruin the bad guy's day and just be like, hey, look at the rogue. You see how you obliterated him? Undo button.
Yeah.
Have 70 HP.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not more healing spells, but I think
But, like,
more
it
ways
depends
to
on-
aid.
Yeah, I think that's the subclass. Is like you pick a subclass and then that's how you're just, you know, specifically aiding. If you're picking war
Kind
cleric,
of.
you're getting into the thick of things. You're fucking shit up and like helping your allies with some buff spells. If you're playing the light cleric, you're caster blasting the shit out of things and blinding your enemies. Let me look. If you're grave cleric, you're making sure no one dies. Specifically, no one dies.
The thing that, I mean, Isaiah has a point though. You're still sort of limited by the spells that are in the game, regardless of what subclass you pick. So
yeah,
yes, you can adjust. Like, yes, if someone plays a life domain cleric, you're going to assume they heal more. That is true. But like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really think it's a problem. I actually think their sort of 50-50 nature is fine. I don't have a problem with it. I think you just decide very early on with your group dynamic whether you're going to heal up more or whether you're going to defend more. And if you don't want to be the supporty person, then be very, like, if you want to play cleric, but you're very specifically like, I do not want to be the support person, then say that, like, up front to your group.
Yeah,
and
be
make
like,
a point. I'm playing
trickster cleric, yeah, or
trickster,
war cleric,
yeah, like,
yeah, just be like, listen, guys, I'm a trickster cleric rogue. I'm going to be sneaking, making illusions and shit. Don't ask me for healing because I didn't pick any.
Yeah.
My god doesn't heal. Traveler out.
Well,
deuces, and then you just turn invisible and just go into the shadows.
You don't have to pick the healing because you get all the cleric spells. But yeah,
I know.
You prepare.
But you know what I mean.
But yes, I do know what you mean. I don't think that's really that big of a personally.
I'm trying to think.
Do you have any other gripes with clerics or?
I mean, that's the biggest one. I feel like that. Now that I'm like on the spot, I was thinking about them all, like, well, not all, but I was thinking about them for like 20 minutes at the start, and I can't remember any of them. That's the biggest one. Is like it feels kind of non-committal, and I kind of wish it was.
I don't know.
I you know what I want? You know what I would want? Here's the one. This is not a cleric's thing. This is an everyone thing. I really want more mitigation spells.
What do you mean?
More shields, like this doesn't mean anything to you.
Shield,
like straight up like shield spells. Like, you know, you get a shield of temporary HP that recovers every round. You
damage mitigation.
Yeah, like, you know.
Well, I mean,
give
there's
me like
false
a mass. Like, here's a good one: mass shield of faith. Right, like that would be fucking sick.
Interesting.
Or like a real like get behind me spell. That's not wall of force.
Yeah.
I want shit like that.
I mean, I think you can do that with some other spells. You just have to be like kind of creative. Like you could make like, let's see, there's like wall of stone or some shit, so you can kind of cast a wall of stone and protect your allies. Or like, there are ways to do it, but I get what you're saying.
Isaiah wants 14 style mitigation.
Not entirely, but like I do want cleric to feel a little more tactical.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like you kind of like in I used to gripe about like, oh, clerics don't get extra attack. I think they should, and then I realized no, they do. It's just you need spiritual weapon to do it.
Or play a war domain.
Or play a war domain.
Yeah.
Is it order domain? I think is the other one that gets it.
Water domain?
Order.
Order.
Oh,
no, order domain. So order domain does not get their own extra attack, but they can command other people to attack.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, order domain is another weird one that came out in like Ravnica.
Well, order domain's kind of Ravnica specific.
I mean, well, now they added it in Tasha's later, but
but the idea comes very specifically from a specific clan or whatever or guild in Ravnica, so like it makes more sense in Ravnica.
Like imagine, right? Imagine like a spell that only clerics got, that was a reaction shield of faith that acted like a cone. So right, like a cone of everyone directly behind you, including yourself, got a +2 to AC, or
you want passage of arms.
Yeah, I literally want passage of arms. Like I know I was like, no, not really 14, but I do literally want passage of arms.
Yeah.
How sick would that be for a cleric?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, that kind of but it sounds like your complaints are not with cleric, but with how the game overall is designed.
Kind of like maybe like if it wasn't a spell and it was like a cleric ability, that would make the whole like you just don't get some shit on some levels feel a little better.
I think what you're saying is the problem is less so. Your problem sounds like it's less so with cleric and more so with the game is designed a certain way, and that certain way is more glaringly obvious when playing cleric.
Yeah,
Like it stands out more on Cleric, right? Because you wouldn't think about Passage of Arms when you're playing a fighter, but when you're playing a Cleric, all of a sudden you're like, oh, that would be kind of a cool thing. So it kind of sticks out more, you know? I don't necessarily disagree with you on that. I do like the idea of like more buff, more damage mitigation, more sort of adjusting the defense or an attack of the scenario. But yeah, that's a game level thing, I think. Unfortunately, so it's harder to fix. And some of the Cleric domains do kind of have that, right? Like the Forge domain Cleric does have the give you magical armor buff, right? So there's that.
Peace domain and Twilight domain.
Peace domain and Twilight domain kind of have it. Yeah, so it's there in little bits and pieces, but it's kind of
subclass, because again, 5e the big thing is the subclasses. So.
Side note though, man, Knowledge Cleric. Visions of the Past is a really cool ability, but not really that useful, I feel like.
I think out of all the clerics, like as much as I think Knowledge Cleric is kind of like the weakest, maybe.
Do you mean mechanically weakest or like least interesting?
Probably both. I mean, I don't know, because I like the idea of a cleric of knowledge, but I don't know, why not just switch that to magic or arcana or something instead?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Knowledge Cleric is probably the weakest mechanically, but I think the least interesting one is Peace.
Yeah.
Personally.
Honestly, I'm gonna be real. I feel like Nature is the weakest one.
Really?
Again, in what sense?
Like in terms of straight, like
thematically or mechanically?
Mechanically.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's a whole other. I don't really.
You learn.
Yeah, I don't look that
Druid
deeply.
cantrip, and you get a Druid-based skill. You have proficiency in heavy armor. You can charm animals.
Yeah.
And plants and animals. You have resistance to
elemental damage.
Yeah, most elements as a reaction. And it's like, oh, you get like a kind of like a divine smite.
That's what divine strike. Yeah.
Well, every cleric gets a divine strike.
Yeah.
Or everyone gets either divine strike or potent spellcasting.
And then the last one is at your capstone, you're like, oh yeah, you can actually make those animals and plants that you charm do things for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't even say fight for you; it just says what they do. Like I guess they could, but like some fucking posies aren't gonna do any damage.
Right.
Yeah.
I love the idea of Nature Cleric though, so I can't shit on it too much. The last thing though I did want to mention is that the Channel Divinity, I love Channel Divinity because it's a great example of a class ability that then gets modified by subclass, which was something that Sam specifically pointed out that is really cool about Rogue, is that there are some Rogue subclasses that modify sneak attack. Yeah. And Channel Divinity is every single domain gets their own Channel Divinities, and I really love that. I wish we would do that more.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Like, you know, and we actually, to their credit, we have been doing it more, right? Like barbarian rages are modified in like newer barbarian subclasses, like the magic one, for example. So there is definitely some of that going on, which is good. But yeah, I love Channel Divinity. Excellent ability. Big fan.
Yeah.
And the level 20 capstone for Cleric is the kind of shit that I want everybody to have. Everyone's level 20 abilities should be fucking wacky woohoo, let's go nonsense. And summon my god for freezies, pretty good one. But,
please, Muhammad, I need help. This dragon cult, they're fucking up my shit.
Yo, you know, be wild. Look at your GM and be like, can I summon an aspect of my god to fight with us?
Just imagine. Yeah, you could be like, you could say that Spirit Guardians.
No, but I'm talking. No. I'm talking
like an avatar. Put the god. Yeah.
Put another token on the battlefield, my guy.
Oh,
that's funny.
Like imagine imagine you praise Bahamut and homeboy like drops a metallic dragon avatar onto the battlefield to help you.
Wait, shit! I have another divine intervention story. This is like a green text video. I don't remember. It's one at there's a big Adventure League like one of these like tournaments going on, where a bunch of different tables are playing the same adventure and they're trying to rush it or whatever. One player, I think, accidentally rolled, I don't know if it's the deck of many things, but some item accidentally released the Tarask in the adventure.
Oh.
And so a player was like, I rolled Divine Intervention. I wish the Tarask was somewhere else. And so the GM like went over to another table, talked to the GM. Both of the GMs like nodded their heads, and so he took the Tarask mini and moved it to the other table. And all the players on the other table are freaking out. Oh god, what did you do?
I love that.
Fuck, that's
so funny. So fucking good.
You just casually, could you imagine being that GM? You just pick up the Tarask mini and just casually walk over, plop it on the other table, fucking wipe your hands off and be like, bye.
Lily's like, guys, I'll be right back. One sec. Takes Tarask mini,
pops it over there,
goes to the other table.
There you go, just for you.
It's like, hey Jerry, listen, can I just throw this Tarask in your game? What are your guys doing? Oh, they're level 3. Oh, I'm sorry, bud.
That's a
Pops it on the table.
Shame. Fuck, that's so good. Yeah, Divine Intervention is amazing.
Very good. Fucking
love it very much.
Chef kiss. Yeah, I guess any final thoughts, opinions on the Cleric before we wrap up, guys? I think, yeah, definitely want to change my opinion now after talking with you guys more. It definitely, yeah, definitely 5 star on Yelp. Going to be excellent. Would recommend.
Delicious. Would go again. Excellent sushi. Yep. Yeah. Final thoughts. Cleric cool.
Cleric cool. There's so much to playing Cleric and so much you can explore and do.
Yeah, I will admit. And I mentioned this with Twilight and Peace. I also feel like this applies to Trickery and Tempest. A couple of the Cleric subclasses feel thematically a little all over the place, but yeah, that's what I was gonna. Way in the beginning of the episode, I mentioned that some of the what exactly did I say? I said some of the subclasses feel the bloat. That's what I was looking for. The subclass bloat is a little apparent, which is why I think Twilight and Peace Cleric have this weird, like, they just kind of gave them abilities that feel very thematically kind of off-brand because they didn't know what else to give them. I also feel like
the idea
Trickery also feels a little weird.
Right, because like the idea originally was like, all right, so like the magic, there's like the 8 schools of magic. Yeah. We're gonna do each domain of cleric of religion is gonna get one, and it's like, shit, we gotta come up with a new
it's a little
domain of magic
now.
every time. Whereas with like the wizard, they're like, we're not gonna come up with another school of magic. Fuck that shit. Yeah. Whereas as cleric now they're like, oh god, order domain, order, spore, what do we do? Moon domain. No, we can't do the moon. Cleric. Who worships the moon? Oh, you know what? Who people worship the twilight of the moon. Yes, good thinking. We'll do that instead. I don't know. Now it's the bloat is real. There's too many.
You can feel the bloat on cleric.
Yeah.
I think it definitely.
I don't know. Isaiah, final thoughts on cleric?
Cleric's cool. Give me Passage of Arms.
Give me Passage of Arms.
When the 1D&D survey goes up, be sure to add that in.
Yeah, you better hope that you gotta hope the designers play 14 so they know what Passage of Arms is.
It's like, hey guys, I know it's not. There's no classes in this playtest. However, might I suggest?
Give me Passage of Arms, you fucking cowards!
Oh my god, that's gonna be crazy. Yo, that if we get if whenever the class playtest comes out, oh boy. That's gonna be wild. I feel like they're not gonna drop them all at once. I don't think.
No, I wonder if they're gonna do one class per UA, or if it's gonna be a bunch, like one subclass per. Like, it'd probably be better if it was one class, and then because some of the players' handbook only got 2 classes anyway.
Right.
So fucking might as well just do that and make life easy.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, this has been a good discussion here in the Sessions Canceled podcast, where we only have good discussions. Am I right, fellas? That's right.
Only excellent golden diamond takes. Only diamond
That's right. The best takes. Don't ignore the episode that's literally titled shit takes.
Yeah. Don't, the bad take all. Episode.
But yeah, follow us on your podcast platform of choice. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the YouTubes and follow us on all our social medias.
All one of it.
All Twitter. Yep. Just the Twitter.
Just the Twitter.
On all of our one Twitter.
If you try and find us on Instagram, you will be disappointed.
Sag. But yeah, thanks guys. Now go pray to your deity of choice because we're gonna go smite some demons to save Sam.
Oh hell yeah, fuck up some fiends.
Oh,
Huzzah!
baby.